Welcome to Sentinel Comics Live. We're only half an hour behind schedule, and that's great. We had some minor audio issues, but we've got them resolved, and we're ready here to do a not very engaging first live stream. That's why we're calling this episode 0. Today we're going to be doing character creation, and we're going to be making heroes, and so we're mostly going to be focused on what's going on the table, but we're doing this to test out our setup, which is a good thing we did. Yeah. So I want to introduce you to the fantastic people that are going to be playing this game. First, it's me, Christopher, the GM, but also we've got all these people on the table. Why don't we start with Adam?
Hey, I'm Adam. Hello.
Just say hi to Maggie.
How's it going?
This is Adam.
Yeah, I said that. I said it was I'm Adam.
Yeah, that's good. You're good to go. That's Adam.
Yeah.
This is Ray.
Hey. Hey, guys.
We also have Maggie.
Hey.
And Craig.
Hi.
And if you're watching us on Twitch live and you're in the chat, then you can talk to Paul, because Paul is typing in the chat, and we'll say something like hello now, but who knows? I can't see what he's saying. He can say whatever he wants. So yeah, today we're mostly going to be working on character creation. If you have questions about what we're doing here, feel free to ask in the chat, and Paul can answer or pose the question to all of us if it's something that he doesn't immediately have the answer for. But we're mostly going to be working on making characters for the Sentinel Comics role-playing game. Why are we doing this live on Twitch? Because in a few weeks, on April 17th, another Tuesday, we're going to go live at noon, and we're going to be doing the actual Sentinel Comics role-playing game, sessions of that, we're doing a 6-session campaign with the characters that these 4 make today, and so I don't even know what that's going to look like. We're going to find out. So, with that in mind, we're going to get started. All right, guys, I've got for you all kinds of things. First, I've got pencils. I know, Adam, you have your own pencils.
Yeah, I have special pencils.
But I brought Sentinel Comics pencils.
Yeah. Well,
Nice.
I want one of those too.
Oh, okay. Now you'll take one.
Those are also special.
They are very special.
As long as everything that I own is special.
It's true. And then I've got...
These are really nice too. I don't know if they can...
Yeah, they're really cool. We give them out at conventions and things. So these are character sheets, and for now the only thing you can really put in them is at the top you can put your player name, but we're going to be figuring stuff out as we go. Also, I want to give you guys a couple of note cards each, just for keeping track. I'll give you one each for now. If you need more, feel free to ask for more. I've got some. And that's just for keeping track of dice, any notes that you want to make to yourself about, like, oh, this is what my character might end up being, things like that. Okay. Then I've got these character creation processes. Ooh. They are large and imposing. This is one character creation process. You go through the 5 steps. No, I'm kidding. This is 5 different.
People wondering if it's possible to get a close-up of the blank character sheet?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I can
sure.
pull this up here, if that's...
Yeah.
Whoop. Yeah, so that's the top of the character sheet. And then, so the top there, you've got your name and characteristics and stuff. Under that, you have a space for your principles. Then underneath your principles is where you put information for sessions as you play them, and that's kind of how character advancement works. On the back of the character sheet, the top third of the sheet is important because it has your powers and qualities. And then beyond that, it also has your status, the 3 status dice. And then below that, you've got the ability for your abilities, your green zone, your yellow zone, and your red zone. And if you get incapacitated, there's an out zone beneath that. So those character sheets are used in the core game. They're in the starter kit, which is available for purchase now, and we'll have them available for download on the website once the core game goes live, too. So these are the character creation processes. They're not very interesting to look at. They're just the printout of the PDF of the blank doc, because we are still doing layout and stuff for that. So. But any questions you have, let me know. I do have for you, though, the most important pages printed out in a nice-looking way. Ooh. This is the step-by-step process of what you'll be doing to make your character, as well as a complete list of all of the different powers and qualities. And so that way, as you're going through this process, you don't have to keep flipping back and forth to this. You just have this list here.
That's a
so
lot.
the front page is the step-by-step process, and the back page is the back of the page is your list of powers and qualities. So there are 2 different ways to do character creation in Sentinel Comics, the role-playing game. There is the guided method, and there's the constructed method. The constructed method is you have a character in mind, you want to build a specific character, you know who they are from the start, and so you follow the constructed method, you go through the system, and you pick your character. And that's totally fine. That's a great way to do it. Do any of the 4 of you have specific characters in mind that you've come to the table with today?
I like to control the internet with my character.
Sure, that's a thing. That's great. Do you have like that's a great concept, and having a concept like that is super useful for the other method called the
Okay.
guided method, which we'll talk about in a second. But like if you were like, oh, my name is so and so, and I control the internet, and I look like this, and I do this, and I know my entire
Yeah,
character
not that
is
far.
okay. Don't worry about it.
far
That's
out.
great. So it sounds like you have a base concept for what sort of thing you might want to be able to do. The guided method is going to be probably the best for you. Does anybody have a specific character they want to build today?
I'm gonna roll on all the tables and come up with
Yeah.
a random character.
Awesome.
basically,
Yeah.
So.
What I would like to do as well.
Awesome, great, cool. So with that, the beginning, the first few pages of this, because I printed the whole thing, are like, hey, here's how to do the things. So if you're confused about anything, how anything is working, feel free to step back. But the step-by-step of the guided method starts here on page 7. It's the same as what you have on the single sheet, and it looks much nicer here because Jen did layout, and that looks way better. So you'll probably, jumping from the guided method, want to move on to, once you've read how the step-by-step method works, moving on to page 12 gets you to the list of backgrounds. And so I'm going to hand each of you a giant packet and just kind of let you read it and do it on your own. Of course, if you have any questions, let me know. Normally I'd walk around the table to help you guys out, but because I'm tethered in by a microphone, I can't do that. So if you have questions, I'll reach across the table. But I also have a copy of the book here myself if you want to ask me about a question about something on a certain page. But as we're going through this process, what we're going to do is we're going to roll dice on charts. And whenever you roll dice on a chart, whenever the system instructs you to roll a number of dice, like the very first thing you do is you're going to roll 2 d10s. It says to begin, roll 2 d10s. And when you roll those 2 d10s, you roll them, and I'll be able to pass you dice to the two of you down there. You roll those 2 d10s, and then you keep them. You roll them, you look at the numbers. Those numbers are important. I rolled a 7 and a 9. Great. That means that on the charts, I can pick from the number 7, number 9, or number 16, the combination of both of those. Those are the 3 options that I've rolled. And if I don't like those options, I can re-roll. But you get 1 re-roll per step if you need it.
Okay.
But with those things, you can then keep those 2 d10s. Don't I got the numbers, I tossed them. Don't toss them. Hang on to those 2 d10s because you're going to use those in that same step to determine the die sizes for powers and qualities in that step. So, as is 2 d10. I'm going to just, while you guys do some reading, pass d10s around.
I'm ready to roll on.
Here's your d10s. You have 2 d10s.
Oh, can I get those neon ones? Can I trade you?
No, I like these.
All right.
And you're going to have 2 different colored d10s.
What?
I just ran out of d10s, man.
All right. So I'm rolling my d10s.
While people are rolling their d10s and looking at systems, does anybody in the chat have any questions that Paul can't answer? Because Paul's probably on top of it.
I have a 9 and a 1, so I can
Okay.
choose between 1, 9, and 10.
Correct.
So my options for backgrounds are upper class, performer, or military.
People want to know when you got glasses on.
I got glasses when I was 9 years old, I believe. Yeah. So I just usually wear contacts.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But I'm looking at maybe getting LASIK, and they tell you don't wear contacts for, like, if you go to a LASIK appointment, they say don't wear contacts for like 3 months. So I've stopped wearing my contacts in anticipation of going to talk to LASIK. So
I rolled a 9 and a 10, so I've got performer, military, and the same as Adam, right? Because otherworldly, right?
no, I.
So you got
You
you
got
got
a-
9,
you have
10,
9 and a 10.
and 19.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. Otherworldly is the other one. Ooh,
That's
I know
pretty cool.
otherworldly.
So and this is your background. This talks about where you came from as a person, who you were before you were a superhero.
This is a hard decision.
I'm not in love with any of the 3 that I got. And
I will grant you a reroll. It's certainly not coming from the rules itself. I'm making it up right now.
right.
Yeah,
So I can reroll 1 or both?
Yeah,
Okay.
you can reroll 1 or both.
Okay.
Craig and Maggie
I'm gonna
shirts
reroll
are
that
being
1.
appreciated by the chat.
Let's see. Oh, Craig did good. Good.
I knew that we were doing Sentinel comic role-playing game stuff today, so I specifically wore a Justice Comics
And
shirt.
your pandering is appreciated
Yeah.
and will be rewarded.
Oh,
I just
I
like
like
Batman.
rewards.
Sorry.
All right.
Your life of Batman will not be
Dave is in
rewarded.
the stream if there are rules.
Oh, good. Yeah, if anybody has rules questions, Dave is the lead design guy for the lead design creator of the Sentinel Comics role-playing game system. So definitely feel free to ask questions in there. He can answer them, and he'll probably correct me if I get things wrong. if I get things wrong.
I got a 2 and a 6, which is Dynasty and Law Enforcement. And then
And
I
also Tragic.
Tragic.
Yeah.
But I don't really like those, so.
Reroll it.
Yep.
None of
I
those things.
re-rolled my 1, so now I have a 4 and a 9. So now I
So now you
have
have 7
Adventurer,
10.
and 17.
Performer, and Medical.
Academic,
Yeah.
military,
I have
and
a-
interstellar.
I have law
From
enforcement,
space. And so,
tragic.
guys, I will point out, while you're looking at stuff here, when you're looking at that chart is super handy, but it doesn't tell you, it only gives you like a glimpse into what's going on. If you're like, oh, I'm interested here, exiled, number 15, I got a 10 and a 5, I got exile, what is exile? You can turn then to wherever exile is in the listing, and it'll give you a longer description. Oh, exile, you're far from your home one way or another. You may have left of your own accord, but it's likely that you were sent away from whatever place you came from. Either way, you're making your own way in the land you now live. So you were sent out in a very small Honda, but you now are figuring out your own way in life. But anyway, so whenever if you're like, this seems interesting, feel free to dig deeper into that in the actual listing.
Yeah, I'm invested in my otherworldly.
Otherworldly?
That's gonna be me.
So if you're going to be otherworldly, go ahead and in your characteristics there on your sheet,
Background?
under background, write otherworldly, and then turn to, oh, you're in the section. There you go.
Yeah, I
I'm
know what
feeling
about.
interstellar.
You like Interstellar?
I'm feeling that.
That's cool. So yeah, in the background, write Interstellar, and then go to, you're already there?
Yeah.
Great. And so then that should walk you through the process of what you do. So this says you're going to assign a D10 and a D8 to 2 of these qualities. So flip this sheet over, because you're going to be adding qualities here.
Okay.
So it says you can take the quality of, go ahead and flip this over too. You can take the quality of magical lore, which is one of, in the qualities here, it's one of the information qualities, magical lore.
Okay.
You could add it to, oh, right, here you are, otherworldly knowledge, which is another lore, or mental qualities. See how it says mental qualities? Mm-hmm. And that means anything from this category. So you could, if you wanted to, pick 2 from that category. Or you could pick 1 from that category and 1 of the other 2, or you could pick these other 2. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I just put them in the quality section.
Yeah, you just pick a total of 2. One of them gets a D10 and one of them gets a D8. Your choice.
So I'm going to go with Adventurer. on
Okay,
mine.
cool.
I like it.
Do you, let's see,
with
Interstellar.
Interstellar.
Yeah, so you're going to get a
Oh.
D12 and a
Nice.
D6 to 2 of these qualities. So in your list of qualities here, that's helpful because it says information qualities and mental qualities, which means
Okay.
you have access to any of these
Nice.
and any of these. So you could take 2 from this list, 1 at a D12 and 1 at a D6, or 2 from this list, 1 at a D12, 1 at a D6, or 1 from each list. Just you got to pick the ones you want. And when you're picking qualities, the qualities are like. Sentinel Comics role-playing game heroes have powers and qualities. Powers are the abilities that you have, the strength, the things that make you a hero. Qualities is like who you are as a person. And so these are going to be sort of things that make up the who of what you do. So if you flip over the sheet here, at the top it has a section for qualities, and you're just going to write one of those names in one slot and give it a D12, and one of the names in the other slot and give it a D6 from those 2 lists.
Okay.
And if you have any questions, let me know. Craig, Adam, how you guys doing? Any questions?
No. So
You said you're going with adventure?
yeah, I'm going with Adventurer. So I have
Anachronistic.
Anachronistic.
Yeah.
So we have otherworldly, interstellar, anachronistic, and adventure. This is
Yeah.
gonna be fun. I mean, like that's like I'm already like excited.
Yeah. So I get a D10 and a D8 to 2 of these qualities: history, leadership, or physical qualities.
So cool. And history is just straight up one. History and leadership are both straight up qualities, but physical is a category.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do with that is give myself a D10 in. Should I take close combat or finesse? I don't know.
Depends on what kind of person you want to be.
What's the difference between otherworldly knowledge and magical lore?
So otherworldly knowledge is knowledge about like other planes and things. There's certainly crossover between the 2,
Okay.
but magical lore is also about like spells and things. So if there's a
Spells are
magic,
better.
if you're looking at a magical beast, you could probably roll knowing to know about that magical beast with either magical lore or otherworldly knowledge, but they're going to be different approaches to both.
Will we have crossovers since?
You totally can. There's nothing wrong
Well,
with it.
I just mean like, what are your qualities that you're gonna pick? Because
I'm thinking.
Oh yeah, and you guys can. You can do some
yeah.
metagaming too. You can talk at the table.
I'm sorry, because like maybe we don't want to have the
knowledge
same
and
ones.
creativity.
That's what I was gonna pick.
Really?
So that would be
Okay.
really
Hold
bad.
on, sorry,
Alright.
real quick to make something clear. Knowledge is not a category. This one is a thing we probably want to do in layout. Deep space knowledge is that one.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's the trick with that being too long. Deep space knowledge is a line. The quality of knowledge would probably be a little bit too broad of a category.
Okay. All
I
right.
know everything.
I think that's the only one that breaks the
D10
line.
of things.
Right.
So we'll see what we can do
Cool.
to make that work.
Yeah, but I'm not going to pick creativity if you have creativity.
So I'm
Yeah.
resisting the urge to just make myself just Indiana Jones at this
Yeah.
point.
I'm not
I've already
opposed to that
figured
idea.
out I'm a stranded, like, Victorian era
Oh.
inventor
Are you going to be
Oh, that's
made
cool.
a
Deep
time
space
machine,
knowledge?
and
I'm going to
the
do
time machine is
magic
broken.
lore,
Oh.
magical
And
lore,
got stuck.
and I think I'm going to do alertness.
Esoteric.
Now, if you want to, you could just write comma deep space after that.
Or write it on top?
Oh yeah, that works too. So you know about deep space, and you're a very creative person.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I'm super alert, and
Mhm.
also I know about magical lore.
Okay, and you're,
just,
but
like,
you know,
accurate.
you know more about magical lore in general than you are alert.
Yes, that's what I decided.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I put a D10 in technology
Mhm.
and a D8 in history.
Sure.
Like, it just kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
I lived that history.
So I'm
What was your
going.
background? I wasn't listening when you were talking.
But
Sorry.
that's like normal.
Yeah.
I'm a stranded time traveler who came from like the late 19th century.
Oh, I dig it.
So I'm going D10 in close combat and D8 in finesse. So I'm actually
Cool. You're getting you
I'm
want to
gonna-
be up in there.
I'm gonna get punchy. Yeah.
You going a different direction?
Yes, we need
Yeah,
one
I'm
of
going to put
those.
creativity. I'm gonna
Okay,
put it as
creativity's your big one.
Yeah, that.
The
yeah.
thing that you are good at is imagining things.
Mm-hmm.
You have a good mind's eye.
Yeah. This,
can't
is,
play
this
yourself,
is
right?
weird for me. I don't usually do punchy characters. So
Well, now you get a chance.
yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
and so now in the process, now that everybody's gotten the first thing, the next thing it goes on to is choose an esoteric principle. So when it says choose an esoteric principle, you're going to want to go to the principle section. You don't have to roll any dice for this.
Oh, it's
Hands
cool.
off.
No, it says first choose an esoteric principle. So you're going to want to go to the principles where I would have marked this in advance had I planned, but instead I made stupid jokes for half an hour while the microphones are off.
We live action.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Page 87.
Yeah, page
looks like.
85 is the list of principles.
Yeah.
Feel free to mark that if you want. I'm going to bend the corner of mine over. So that is like the principles by their categories. And then esoteric principles start on page 87. So for you, which principle category did you need to pick from for Interstellar? Did you look? Because it's-
Esoteric.
Oh, are you both esoteric?
Yeah.
I am also
Okay.
esoteric.
Oh my.
I'm expertise.
Okay, cool. So yeah, go to page 87 for everybody who's not Adam, and Adam, go to page 90. And 80, it goes from the bottom of page 87 all through 88 and all through 89, and pick one of these principles and go to the first page of your character sheet and fill all that information in. Also, one part of it will go on the second page of your character sheet, but we'll talk about that once you've done some reading.
All right. Well, I'm thinking I'm going to go here. Either principle of the indestructible or principle of mastery.
Depends on what kind of direction you want to go here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that part of this I'm not going to know until my power source.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
You can always flag it and come back.
Principle
but-
of time traveler.
Makes sense.
Can you make your own principle?
There are rules in the game for how to create your own principles. The thing you need to do with your GM to make sure you're not like, I have the principle of I win at everything, and I just win at everything is
Yeah.
my principle. But yeah,
Cool.
there are rules for making up your own principles, yes. So with the time traveler, just go ahead and write in principle of the time traveler there in the slot.
It's convenient that exists.
Yeah.
Given that I'm a time traveler.
And right, and then the first 3 chunks of it go into those 3 chunks right there on the sheet. And then the last part of it, the green ability, goes in the bottom of your green ability section on the backside.
Gotcha.
so I'm changing my mind on that. I think I'm going to go with the principle of clockwork.
Oh,
Yeah, so you're good at understanding how pieces operate in tandem and can identify flaws in ordered systems.
oh,
So,
interesting.
yeah. I'm liking that.
There's going to be a lot of humorous fish out of water scenarios for me, I think.
Fish
Yeah.
out of water
Yeah,
scenario is
that'd be
not very humorous to the fish.
Depends on what kind of fish it is. There's those
Literally what
there's
fish?
those
Oh, yeah.
fish that can walk for a little while, or flying fish.
Mm-hmm.
Or that sometimes they have mechanical legs and a helmet that has water in it.
That happens too.
Yeah.
A lot of fish.
This is tough.
It is tough. I'm stuck between the principle of the future
Okay.
and I'm stuck between principle of an energy or an element.
Mm.
People suggest that someone should take the principal and be in charge of the school.
It's fair. You'd have to make that one up. It's not currently in the book, but it's still a fair assumption.
It's gonna be a magic principal.
I could be principle
Maybe
of,
Dumbledore.
so I get to choose my energy or,
Right. So you would
An
pick like
element?
fire. So in your list here, there's energy and element. So these are all the
Okay.
energy elements you can pick. First, you're like, I'm gonna pick the principle of electricity or the principle of radiation or something like that.
People are wondering on this track if everyone can give a recap of their character.
Oh, we're going to at the end.
Yeah, oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
No, so we're right now, everybody is kind of forming their characters as they go, and they're talking about them as they go, but they're also constantly changing. So that is one of the things I really like about the guided method is that as you go, you're like, oh, I have these ideas, and like, oh wait, but now this is shifting this way and shifting that way.
I think I'm gonna do principle of the undead.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Okay, so it says you are living challenged. You can still be hurt and damaged, but you can ignore many of the afflictions that bother the living.
Okay, so in some way you're undead, which you're gonna have to as part of your character, resolve
I
that,
need to-
figure that out. But we're not there yet.
Yeah,
we still have so much more. So go to the other side real quick. We'll come back to that.
Okay.
But for now, fill in principle of the undead. Be careful when you write on this table. You don't write
Yeah.
in one of these spots here. Your
have
pencil
done
will
that
go through the paper.
A number of times now.
Sorry. Next time I will make a better table because I didn't make this one. I'm going to sneeze.
Bless you. I'm super living up to my goth girl status
Yeah.
in this office.
Yep. Meg's like, I'm not gothy at all. I'm just making an undead character for the RPG.
It just worked out really well.
So here, instead of writing the undead,
sorry.
you see how it says during
Oh,
role
yeah.
player playing colon. You don't necessarily have to write this verbatim, but you should write some sort of tags that remind you
what's going
of what
on.
these things are going on. And same thing here for minor twist and major twist, where it says minor twist for these things.
is very proud of you, Maggie.
So where you write principle of the undead goes
Yeah,
there, that
I
title
got-
box.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so when it asks
What are you thinking about?
for the minor twist and major twist, I'm writing the question, not
You write
an
the question.
answer.
The question
Yeah.
is
Okay.
because the question that is asked in the listing there is a question that you will ask of the GM or the GM will ask of you in the moment when those twists
Okay.
come up. It's not answer this question now. It's like
Okay.
no. This is a question that is constantly going to be asked of you.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes way more sense because I was
Yeah.
agonizing over how to answer that question.
There's
I
a
don't need to
section
do
at the
that right
beginning
now.
of this chapter that talks about how that works, and we've just glossed over that because I'm here.
Yeah, perfect.
yeah, I'm gonna go with principle of the future.
Okay, cool.
You have visions or knowledge of things yet to come, and I feel like that's gonna go along with my creativity.
Yeah, you're like, hey, I know what's coming up. It's
Yeah.
not good, guys. It's not good.
People suggest in the chat that you should say principle of the future.
Principle of the future.
Yeah, there you go. All right, cool. So yeah, just fill in
Yeah.
that there, and then same thing with the minor and major twist, just write those questions in there. And you can shorthand those questions if you don't want to write the whole thing out. I write them all out, but that's not necessary.
Especially because you're the GM,
Mm-hmm.
and it wouldn't matter.
I don't get to make
They're our
characters.
characters.
It's not even true.
We got Heart Ray in the.
Oh, good.
Oh.
Ray's pulling ahead as chat favorite. Now remember, chat, at the end of each session, you will vote on who your favorite is, and the least favorite will be killed. Oh, did you guys not know about
No,
this?
I didn't know about
Why did you
that.
think the doors were all sealed?
Me and Ray are definitely in the lead, so suck it.
Spoilers, I die at the end. There's no GM.
This went sort of well, I guess. But I don't have to try and survive another day if they kill you.
That's right. One more.
So I'm trying to come up with other questions.
Sure.
For because I don't want to be an equipment based
Sure. So what are the minor? Just out of curiosity, what are the minor and major questions?
The minor twist is what tool just broke. The major twist is what far away location are your tools now occupying.
Okay.
So
and so you're not being equipment based. You're being knowledge of clockwork based.
Yeah.
So what important element did you just forget?
In minor.
Would work for minor because it's the same as your tool breaking. And then so I'd go that direction.
And then I was thinking of like I'm just trying to figure out the phrasing on what side effect, like what major negative side effect does exploiting this system.
Sure. I'm good with that. The other direction I could see going is, what terrible threat did you miss? So like I've analyzed this and I've seen all the things. Yeah, but you didn't see the big one scary thing. So I think that kind of fits in there with side effect. So. And if you want to come up with a phrasing, feel free. But also you can write like a shorthand question of like major unseen side effect ? Whatever's going to help you.
I think I want to say what major unseen side effect did you cause?
Sure, that makes sense.
So that my powers are the ones at fault in that instance.
Your powers of observation.
Yeah.
And then what is the green ability for clockwork?
It is use a simple tool to solve a complex situation in an overcome action, and use your max die. You and each of your allies get a hero point.
I'm actually still good with that.
That still works.
Yeah, because I think that it's
that's problem solving.
It's like I see the situation, simple tool solution.
Right. That's not I have this stuff on.
You're not like I carry this giant bag of tools.
Right.
Because a simple tool is like a lever, for instance.
So a branch is a lever.
Right. Cool. I just wanted to make sure that since we were doing some tweaks to that. And for the chat's purposes, somebody asked earlier in the chat if you could make your own principle. You're more likely to tweak extant principles like we just did to fit better for Adam's character. But again, there are rules for making up your own principles. Craig, how are we doing?
Fine. I've got everything written down.
Excellent.
I get to solve problems during the game by knowledge from my own personal era using my max die.
Do you know yet what your own personal era is?
Yeah, probably like 1880s.
Okay. Like we'll see if that survives through the whole character creation. You might halfway through go, oh no, it's 2880s. Right, but
we'll see.
Yep.
Yes, 25th century specifically.
Okay, does everybody have their green ability and all three of their principal things filled out on the front side of their sheets?
Yep.
Adam's finishing up his green ability, but he'll catch up, no worries. Everybody turn to page... Oh, wait, sorry. I'm jumping the gun. Go back to the page that your stuff was on. It was going to be page like 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, somewhere in there. I say that. It's 19 for you. It's 19 for you. It's 18 for Craig. Yeah, turn back to the thing, and it will tell you the last chunk. So you've already used the dice for your first set as stuff, so go ahead and pass your dice back in. Don't worry about those dice. I'm actually just going to hang on to all the dice here. And then what dice, go around the table, tell me what dice you need for your next roll. You got all the dice you need?
The dice that I have.
Okay, what dice do you need, Craig?
I need a D8 and a D6.
A D8 and a D6.
Thank you.
Adam, what do you need?
3d8.
3d8, very balanced. That's going to be one of Cam's favorites. And then, Ray, what do you need?
D12 and D6.
D12 and a D6. So, so Maggie, you rolled a 1, and a 2. Oh no, that's fine because the rules for the when you're picking from your chart is you pick any one of those numbers you rolled or any of the combination of any two numbers. So you have access to 1, 2, and 3. If you don't like any of those, re-roll it.
They said your character should invent a new BS explanation for time travel every single time you discuss it.
I actually kind of like that.
That's pretty cool.
So once you've rolled those, roll the dice and look at the numbers for it, and then go to the chart that starts on page 20 and goes through page 22. And you can use the dice you rolled or any combination of any two dice. You can't combine more than two. So for those of you that are rolling two or more than two dice, you can't combine all three, but you can combine any two of them. And you can choose like, oh, well, do I want 1 and 3 or 1 and whatever else you rolled? I can't see from here.
I got a 1, 3, and a 3.
Oh, okay.
I got 1, 2, 6.
All right.
And these are for our power sources.
And this is for the power sources. This is here on page 20, 21, and 22. You're going to pick, and this is, again, these are just the names of them, and then in the following tables starting on page 23 is where you have the longer descriptions of them. So this is the source of your power.
Accident, training, genetic.
Man, we got a lot of 1s, 2s, 3s around this table.
Yeah,
Or-
can I re-roll?
yeah.
Go for it. Of course you can.
Relic.
Just re-roll
or-
better.
Wait, nature, relic, or powered suit.
Oh, triples.
Re-rolled the best.
When you roll triples, you get the bonus of having 3 dice that are the same number.
Cool.
I'm also
So you
gonna
have access to 5
Mystical.
or 10.
Mystical or tech
Tech
upgrades.
upgrades.
Pretty sure I'm gonna go with mystical.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Seems pretty solid for me.
And if two characters happen to have the same power source, that's fine. You're still going to end up very different. Don't worry about that. Unless you choose to make yourself very the same. But, like, I can't stop that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with mystical.
Awesome.
I think I'm gonna go with relic.
Ooh, you
Yeah.
have an item of some sort.
Yeah. That seems cool.
Cool. So, these are your list of powers. So similar like when we were adding the qualities, we're now adding powers from this list.
Okay.
You have all these powers, and note that some of them say, like, materials powers, psychic powers, self-control powers. Those are categories. When they say
Yeah.
the word powers at the end, it's a category. When it doesn't, it's like, okay, signature weaponry. Okay, great. So that is a specific power from the Hallmark list.
Okay.
Signature weaponry. And so you can assign all these dice, and it doesn't matter what the face of the die is. It only matters the size of the die. So
Okay, so I have two-
You have 2d6 powers and 1d10 power.
Got it.
And you decide which of these is the d10 power and which 2 are the d6 powers from any of these powers or any of those categories.
Sweet.
Cool.
Ooh, teleportation.
What are you thinking, Ray?
I'm thinking mystical.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, it makes sense. You're from space. What is
Yeah,
your other
I have-
option? Your option is mystical, and then 8 is
Power suit.
okay. So you could have
Powered suit.
a power suit. You're flying through
Space
space
suit.
in. And then what's 13?
I'm going to be doing powered suit.
That's good to know.
Okay. And what's 13?
Cursed.
Oh, you could be cursed from space. You don't like that as much?
Curses are cool.
They are cool.
Because you could be like, because your background is interstellar. You were maybe you were like even an astronaut from Earth, but when you were up in space, there was some terrible thing that happened to you, and you got cursed. Maybe. Like if you want to do mystical, I'm not trying to stop you. I'm just talking about options.
Yeah.
And you get how to assign powers and everything for a powered suit.
I haven't looked that far ahead yet.
Just writing it in.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that mystical really goes along with
Sure.
my deep space knowledge and my creativity.
Do it.
I have all this awareness and presence and my psychic powers. I'm from the stars. I'm going to go with that.
Do
I'm
it.
just gonna let you know I have teleportation marked now because I'm doing mystical too. So
Yeah.
I don't know if we want to have the same ones or not.
I mean, that's the thing is you can both be mystically powered characters with vastly different power sets, vastly different abilities.
Yeah.
So I'm not at all concerned about having two people with the same power set. If you look at a lot of
Yeah,
hero
we
teams,
match up
most
roles.
of them.
Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah. There you go.
Okay.
So if you go to the powered suit section, which is I believe on page 27. So the first thing you do is you straight up assign one of the 3 dice you rolled to the power suit.
Okay.
You've got a power suit. You assign it to that power. That's the first thing.
Yep.
And you decide if you want that at a D6, a D8, or a D10. And you'll assign the other 2 dice to any of those powers, and you'll note that the first 2/3 of the list are all individual powers. The last ones there, actually really the last 2, athletic powers and mobility powers, are categories of powers. So similar to the categories of qualities you had before, you could take, if you wanted to, you could take both of them from the mobility list, or both of them from the athletic list, or you could do other things there. So does that make sense? Great.
Yep.
Adam, what are you looking at?
Well, so yeah, I'm definitely doing relic. I'm thinking.
I saw
that
you were on
this-
the same page that Craig was. I was like, are we doing 2 mystical and 2 powered suit?
No. I'm
No,
definitely
we're
doing
like,
relic.
okay, cool.
I think I'm going to have like a cursed sword or something.
I was going to say,
like that.
have you figured out what your relic is? But the answer is you have.
Yeah, I think
Cursed
that's
sword?
Yeah, because I was eyeing signature weaponry
What about an axe?
for it.
What about a shield? A spiky shield?
A spiky shield.
I don't know.
It just
Like
is
I'm just. You played a shield character before though. Like
When
when
I-
we were 20
Spiky
something,
shield?
you had the
Just
shield
thinking of
character,
space.
like blue shield.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't actually have a shield.
No, he
though.
was just
he
was a
the
shield character,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
That was just I was thinking about you using a shield. I was like, oh yeah, you had that shield character.
yeah, I'm just trying to think of now because I think I want to take awareness.
Sure.
Do
what's
I
going
want
on,
awareness or intuition? I'm trying to decide
So
if I
awareness-
like.
Iris teleportation. I don't know. I'm not sure now.
Awareness
So if you
is like
wanted it-
know what's going
No,
on
I'm not
around
gonna
you. You've got like
Okay.
you have a it's like battlefield
Right.
awareness.
Yeah.
Intuition is like, okay, I feel like something's wrong here. I'm talking to this person, or I'm just like looking at the scene. Like intuition's a gut feeling. Awareness is like using your senses to constantly be paying attention to what's going on. You have awareness is more like intelligence, and intuition is more like
What about
gut
presence?
feeling.
Okay. I'm thinking that I want
Presence
to
is like
go
you have presence in
intuition
the room.
then.
People look at you when you walk in the room. Presence is like charisma.
Yeah, I think I want to go intuition then because I like with my principle of clockwork, I want to have this understanding of how things work, but I don't want to intellectually understand how
You
things
couldn't
work.
necessarily build a clock from spare parts,
Right.
But you could see if something's put together wrong.
Yes.
Just like you're like, no, that's not quite right.
That's not right. It just
And
doesn't
especially if
feel
that makes
right.
sense, if you have like a cursed sword or something, it's giving you this gut feeling.
Right,
You're like,
yeah.
I feel this in my bones.
Okay, so yeah, I definitely want intuition.
Cool.
And I want the signature weaponry, but also I'm trying to think of what's a good like kicker power for this. I was looking at materials.
Sure. Well, with signature weaponry, and if you want to, with that signature weaponry, especially with anything from the Hallmark category, you could totally rename that to be like, oh, for signature weaponry, this is my cursed sword. I'm
Right.
giving cursed sword D8, not signature weaponry D8.
Right.
More. So, but and it's even better if you name your cursed sword.
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
I don't know if I'll name it today.
That's fine.
but
And if you
I
have
have to
ping pong
think
ideas
about
back
that.
and forth, I'm happy to.
I might have to draw it first.
Sure.
So-
Know how many faces it has.
Right, but I'm wondering if I make it like a natural sword and I can control plants, or if I can do like some toxic thing with it.
Where'd
or-
you get the sword? Because that's the question. Like, where you got the, if
Yeah.
it's a sword that's from like that was deep in a temple in a jungle with the jungle
Yeah.
is the tangle grown up around this temple.
Right.
It's like, okay, that's where that sword came from. So that's a vine sword. But if it's a sword that was like it's deep in a jungle and there's a clearing around that and there's like an aura of decay, then that's a different sort of thing. Like,
Right.
where were you that you found this sword?
Also, people want to know if it's a one-handed or two-handed.
Oh yeah, how
Uh,
big is the
It
sword?
will probably be 1.5.
Was this like a sword that was driven deep into a stone that you had to pull out with both your hands, or was this?
I
Like
think it was. I think it was like on a pedestal. I don't think.
Oh,
I
it was
had
like on a stand. You
Yeah.
gripped it as you picked it up.
And I
and
am
you-
thinking it's like an ancient temple. I don't. Boy, I need to
Was this
think
in-
about this for a second.
Can I ask you a couple questions?
Yes,
Was this ancient temple on Earth?
that does make a difference.
This is right. So like, I know you're thinking about it. Was this so? I'm gonna ask you questions that I don't care about, that I don't need answers to, but you need answers to. Was this temple on Earth? How long ago did you get this ancient sword? Did you? Why were you there? So.
Okay, I have some ideas.
Okay,
Hold on.
great.
Yeah,
People want to know the style of the sword too. There's a lot of like interesting stuff.
there's a lot of interesting.
Signature
Okay.
weaponry.
Signature weaponry.
Emerald.
So Adam's talking about having a sword. So like,
Is that the same idea? Like I would make up a weapon? that I-
right, so it'd be like, here's a thing that is like, this is like unique to you in some way. If you were playing like a gunslinger sort of character where like your Colt is your perfect weapon.
So like batarangs?
Oh yeah, Batarang would be a good signature weapon if you were making a Batman character, sure. But like like if I were building Zorro in this set,
Yeah.
I would probably say that a whip was a signature weaponry, but also kind of a rapier is, so like it's tough. So
Yeah. I would definitely say the sword over
interesting.
the whip.
As-
Or Zorro, sorry.
As a person who was very into Zorro in his youth, like the whip is like the sword is for stabbing and fighting, but the whip is really that's where you do your cool tricks and stuff.
I don't know, what's remind me of Indiana Jones? Sorry.
See,
Different generation.
Yeah, I mean, I would use a signature weaponry with Indiana Jones for a whip also.
Shit, that makes sense, and I would treat that very differently than a Zorro whip.
Or like Luke Skywalker would have signature weaponry, lightsaber.
Oh, quick.
A whip.
Quick. Yep.
That's a cool whip.
So yeah, is there? Are you thinking about going a weapon direction? Do you have an item of some sort?
Well, yeah, I don't. It said signature weaponry, and I was just thinking because I'm not sure, and right now I feel very vampire-y with like the things that I've picked.
Sure. Do you have like a
And-
dagger that drips blood constantly, or?
Ooh, that'd be fun.
Hi. Yeah. Greetings.
Well, no,
Is it a
it's like-
dagger that is made out of polished black bone that constantly drips the blood of your most recent kill?
And
Just
that way I'm
hypothetically
like
speaking.
never hungry. This is all perfect. Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm a hero. You are making a superhero.
I'm sorry for that.
No, I mean,
I'm a
if
villain type.
you're explaining how you're... Look, like, there are some legit vampire backgrounds for heroes.
No, I like having weapons though. Okay.
Okay, so I just realized I was supposed to roll a D10, D8, and D6.
Oh, for Interstellar. Okay, well, so
Yeah.
hold on.
Do I have to
D10, no, not necessarily. D10, D8, and D6, and you rolled them, and you got the thing you wanted.
Okay, yeah.
But even if you didn't, so so I talked at the beginning about there's two different methods: the guided method, which is what we're doing, and the constructed method. The constructed method is you take the die sizes because you need those die sizes, and you don't roll them. You just pick the thing you want.
Okay.
And so for this instance, you're fine. There's no like, oh, you're imbalanced now that you're not doing the thing. No, and
Alright.
you could have rolled the 5, so it's not like it's going to be a problem.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
You want to know the name of my dagger?
I do want to know the name of your
Zesty Blood.
Zesty blood. Oh boy. The dagger, the great and grim dagger of zesty blood.
As long as you say it in that end voice.
Yeah.
Zesty Blood.
Oh, it's an intelligent dagger that has a voice, and it always cries out its name as you plunge it into someone's heart. Zesty blood.
Yeah, I like this. That is exactly what I wanted.
It's one of these campaigns.
For ripping.
Constant blood dripping appeared to be hell of a wardrobe.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's all leather, I assume.
Oh,
so-
right. It just wipes clean.
Yeah, exactly.
You got a ShamWow. You can just.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Oh,
How's your power suit?
I've got my powers selected.
Okay, what powers did you end up
I
with?
put a D10 in my power suit.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm going to pause you real quick.
Yeah.
What kind of power suit do you have? As a time traveler from the past who's an inventor, like, is this like a clockworky power suit, or is this
Steam.
It's steampunk?
So
Okay.
yeah, I've got a steam.
It's not even steampunk though.
No.
It's just like
It's just
classic
steam.
Victorian steam.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, it's steam powered, and it's lots of like heavy brass and stuff like that. Like,
Polished copper.
yeah, and it's not sleek at all. It's pretty chunky.
Sure. It probably was when you first finished it. Maybe. Do you think? When you first finished making the suit, yeah, you had it like in good shape, but then maybe as you wore it around some and took it through time, got it out of the lab.
Right.
Like, how long did it take from you first inventing the suit to actually putting it on and taking it out of the lab? Was it immediate, or was it like, well, I gotta be sure? What kind of character are you?
I did it at night, mainly.
Oh, interesting.
Because not like I didn't want someone to see me.
Sure, it's embarrassing.
Right.
Walk around in a dumb suit. Like,
Right.
let's be real.
Especially like I wasn't 100% certain it was going to work.
That's why I'm like, how quickly did you put your body in this thing that could mangle you real quick?
Right. Relatively quickly.
Okay.
I didn't.
Not too much deliberation.
No. I was excited because I made this intentionally for myself.
To do what?
It was more an experiment.
Could you do it?
That's exactly.
Yeah.
It's why did I climb that mountain? Because it was there.
Sure.
So yeah, that's my power suit.
And your power suit predates the first invention of the power suit with Heinlein by couple hundred years.
Right. It doesn't look like a power suit. It looks like I would have to be incredibly strong to move this thing around.
But it's got all
actually,
sorts of
it's
gyros and
actuators
servos
and-
and actuators.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry. Tell me about the other powers.
I put a D6 in lightning calculator because I'm an inventor. I'm a scientist.
You got it.
Like I need that. And I also took some signature weaponry. So part of the power suit is like think shocker.
Okay.
So I've got basically like electrified fists.
Right, where you can, as you strike someone with your power suit's fist, you can impart a blast of energy.
Exactly.
Is that
vibration?
Is that signature weaponry detachable from the suit? Because so I would actually just call that part of your power suit.
Okay.
I would not bother putting a power die into that, because if that's the thing, it's like, oh, I can't use my power suit right now, but I could still use my signature weaponry. If you're like, no, that can't happen.
No, it's a part of the suit.
So then, like, when you're attacking with so you're telling me your power suit, when it punches, you can do shocks? Great, I believe you.
Okay.
You roll your power suit die for that.
Okay.
Because I feel like that signature weaponry is so intrinsically part of the power suit that, like, that's one thing. Like when I was building Bunker for the starter kit, Bunker's got the riot cannon, which can be detached from the suit and walked around without it. Like, so that's a similar sort of thing.
Gotcha.
Here.
No, this is
now,
just...
if you want to make this a detachable thing, great. Or if you want to like look into a different direction, is there something else? Maybe does the suit have? If you're looking at the athletic powers, the suit might have a level of like vitality that is.
That's not a bad idea.
Right.
I really have
or even strength, actually, for like, oh, with this suit, you can, so. Something to think about.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
No, that's fine.
How you doing? Good?
Yeah.
Good. How we doing over
Yeah,
here?
I'm ready to go.
Okay, what do you got?
So my powers, I have elemental and energy powers.
So elemental/energy is a thing that I did not explain. Where are we? Mystical.
Yep.
Okay, so right, elemental energy powers. is a category. So whenever you take something from a category, you don't take the category head, you take
Okay.
one of the things from the category.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Let's go with cosmic then.
Sure, you've got cosmic powers.
Yep.
Pew, pew.
So I want to get my my energy from the stars. I literally float around and walk around with this orb of energy, and then that goes with my teleportation. So
Sure.
whenever I want to be in a different place, like I have this orb of energy that just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, you can just take this orb, like step into the orb and step out somewhere
Yes.
else. Fantastic.
That's
And you're also
fantastic.
psychic.
Okay.
So yeah, just erase elemental / energy and fill in cosmic. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, Adam,
Yeah,
how you doing?
I'm doing good. Okay.
Maggie
So-
named her blood dagger before you named her cursed
Yeah, I
sword.
know. I have to
Get
think
on
about
it.
that still. But I have my signature sword,
Okay.
which my story now
Okay.
is that I was an astronaut.
Oh!
Yeah,
Whoa!
that's
I
my
like
adventure.
that
back
came
then.
out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Did not expect that.
Send me into space. I haven't determined where yet, but I end up in some unknown planet far off. There's a temple there.
Are you a
And
Golden Age hero?
Who knows?
Kind of sound like it.
Maybe.
It sounds
But
pretty good.
yeah, I take up this sword that I find there in order to defend myself from some ravenous aliens,
Sure.
and then it turns out to be a cursed sword.
Upon grabbing the sword, do you
gonna be
hear
a
it in your head?
Space cursed sword. Maybe, I don't know yet.
Does it
I'm
say out
I'm
some
gonna
things?
nail all that.
Okay, sorry. I'm excited.
I'm gonna nail all that down later. But my third power as a result is going to be Infernal Energy. So
Because you're cursed, and the curse has ravaged your very spirit.
yeah, so I can manipulate some infernal stuff, and also it gives me an innate understanding of things.
Yeah.
That's what.
Dark things.
Yeah.
Good, good.
Yep.
This is going a very different direction than I did any prep for, so this
Yeah.
is great.
Time travel in space, though.
Yeah, no, yeah,
Yeah.
like this is a very magically, mystically sort of team in general. Like you are the least magical, mystical person, astronaut who picked up a cursed sword on a far-off planet.
I'm not magical or mystical at all.
You
Yeah.
traveled through time,
It's with science.
right? And everyone else in the world around you thinks the thing you did is magic, and you have to convince them, no, it's science. But the world isn't ready to hear, like uninformed mind, science, magic, some quote. I don't know. All right,
150
cool.
years later, even.
Right. Yeah. So we've done the gaining of power. So now we're going to get abilities, and abilities is where your character is really going to come to life. So you'll note. So looking at, let's see, what did people end up with? You guys both ended up with mystical. So you gain 2 yellow abilities, each using a different power. Whenever you see something in brackets, that means that you pick one of those things. So, like for the first one here, it says boost / hinder in brackets. Don't worry about the icons. So it starts. The icons are just going to be, those are notes for the layout for the actual chapter in the game. But anyway, so modification wave is the first one. And with each of these, the thing that earlier in the chapter it talks about is you want to rename these as you take them. Because modification wave is just a generic name that's used to be like, this is what the generic use of this power. How do you use this power? If you both took this first ability, it would look different if this like vampire-y sort of character was doing it versus if this child of the star was doing it. So, so the first thing you name the thing, you pick. It says boost or hinder, so this is an ability that will either always boost or always hinder. Boost is a thing you can do to strengthen yourself or your allies. Hinder is a thing you can do to make your enemies worse at things. Using power. The fact that it says power in brackets there means you'd need to pick one of your powers. So you would say like, if you wanted to say, okay, I'm going to make this, and it says apply this against multiple targets, you're like, okay, I'm going to make modification wave into a way that I can power up all of my friends using my cosmic orb. So you would say, okay, I'm going to boost using cosmic and apply that mod against multiple targets, and then name it like Cosmic Orb Invigoration or something like that. I'm just making things up. So, so you each pick 2 of those different abilities. Skipping the icon part at the beginning and going right to the name. The letter that comes right after the name, which is in parentheses, the letter in parentheses is what goes in the type. A is action, R is reaction, I is inherent. Inherent things are always true. Reactions are things you do in response to somebody else doing a thing, and actions are a thing that you do them, and then that's your turn. And so yeah. So pick your abilities as per your section. Yeah, Craig, you get 2 yellows and 1 green. Adam, you get 2 yellows and 1 green. And then Mystical, you each get 2 yellows. And then you get another information quality, a D10. So you each know something else because of your mystic knowledge. So, but do that after you get your powers, or after your abilities that are based on your powers. So when you get the green abilities, you write them in your green ability section, and then you will assign the power to them when you get to that charge. You changing up your powers?
Yeah, I'm
That's
thinking
fine.
about it.
Totally fine. That's where we are in this process. All right. Let me know if you have any questions. Meanwhile, while we're doing this, because this is going to be a lot of reading, I am going to attempt to use the stream to go to my computer monitor, maybe, that I have over here. For no reason, I'm going to see if this works. Yes, it does work. Good. This is just to test out if I can put what is on my computer screen on the screen here in the stream. So I could be like, oh, look at this cool image, or look at this cool image. Oh man, there's some cool images from the Idealist's deck from her Voidguard character. Oh wait, that's Stuntman. And that's also Stuntman. Oh, he's having a rough day. That's something from Luminary's deck. So yeah, I'm just trying to swipe on this. No. That must be it. Okay, cool. So anyway, that's it. Just wanted to do a quick test to see if that screen would work, because in future sessions, I'm going to use that to show off villains and things you guys will be fighting. So I can be like, hey, you four, look at that screen.
Yeah.
You can look at that screen. It'll also show the chat. And it won't be a thing. I probably won't use it to take up the whole screen like I did there, but it'll probably take up like the bottom left corner of the screen would become just like the picture of the villain or something. You have a question. I'm going to leave. No, okay, go ahead. What's your question?
So when it says using power, if I wanted to use the dagger,
Yeah,
so I would just say using like this dagger.
using Zesty Blood.
Okay.
So like if you were saying that you hindered using Zesty Blood and applied that mod against multiple targets, then it would be like a swipe of the dagger where you're like slicing with the dagger and the blood splatters from it, and everybody that it hits, it burns them and hinders them. That's really gross. Your characters, why, what?
That is it's so weird that you were going to say that, because I swear that's what I was going to do. It's called Blood Wave.
Blood Wave!
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Actually, I think I
are
might
you
do something different.
actually straight up a vampire? Just out of curiosity. Do you know if you are a vampire?
Give me some time.
Okay, we're still figuring it. I'm just curious if you decided yet.
I think probably. I think it makes the most sense.
What if you're like a half vampire?
It's probably going to be
You can
something
walk
like
in
that.
the day
Yeah, I'm
and a half vampire.
like Blade, but like
you carry
not
a
as nice.
knife, an edged weapon,
Right.
a sword. What's another word for an edged weapon? I don't know.
A scimitar.
Yeah.
Call yourself scimitar.
Scimitar.
Yeah. Scimitar, the Morning Strider.
Yeah, that's good.
There you
It's a
go.
unique character that nobody's ever come up with. I
Right,
like
correct. I named my sword.
Oh, okay.
It's called Starblight.
Starblight.
Yeah.
Starblight, first star I see.
That's why I did it.
There's a name suggestion of Hemogoblin.
Goblins! Who suggested that?
Cult of Gloom.
Oh my god.
Are you going to be
I'm
Hemogoblin?
probably going to. I love goblins. I do.
I'm assuming you're going to talk like this the whole time.
I will not.
I'm Maggie. No problem.
Yeah, I have a question.
I have an answer.
I get to, with my energy converter that I have renamed Absorbatrix.
Of course.
It says I can take when I take damage from an element or energy of my choosing. Now, can that be kinetic energy?
So specifically, look at whenever something says element/energy, it's talking about the list under powers. So you look at the list, the list here. Element energy.
Okay.
Those are the element/energies.
Okay.
So you don't.
Okay.
So you know you may not make one up.
Okay.
Unless there's one. If you're like, I have a really specific thing. Kinetic energy is a bit too general.
Right.
But
Hemogoblin was a villain from the New Guardians.
okay.
Really? Oh well, then I'm not taking it.
Okay.
Sorry, it exists,
Done.
But,
Done.
But I did really like that.
It's a good one.
People want to know if these characters are going to be canon to Sentinel comics lore.
That's hard to say.
There is canon as the characters that you play in your home games, which are like canon in a way. So it really depends on what happens, what goes forward with this, and Adam and I will at some point decide whether or not to include any of these characters in a future supplement. The answer is, if they ever show up in a book, then yes. And if they don't show up in a book, then no. And if every character that Adam or I or people adjacent to us created automatically became canon, there would be like 17 times as many characters. So I'm not going to say no.
Okay, when I take electricity, when
makes sense.
It like overcharges.
Charges you up,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Writing.
Sentinel Comics Legends is what people have said.
There we go. There we go.
I do feel like this game needs a name. Like,
Our game?
like this game, our game.
Okay, so
we
like
want to
a
name
title.
our group. We could
So
do
we're certainly going to name the team, and at the end of each session, you'll be naming issues.
Yeah.
And like that is the thing that I do want to come to, but we're definitely jumping the gun there. We need to meet each other, learn about each other, and all that. I'm not going to be starting you guys in issue 1 at a tavern. So we are going to, between now and April 17th, figure out like how you know each other, where this comes from, because you are in some way a team going into this story. This is not the first 6 issues you ever appeared in. In fact, your origin stories are going to be a thing that we create as part of this creation process. They end up on your character sheet.
And Christopher and I on Tuesdays are going to be doing GM.
That's true. I don't know if someone in the chat let us know if you can hear Paul when he talks. You don't need to. We don't necessarily want to have Paul mic'd the whole time, because then it's just going to be a lot of like chuckling in the background. But Paul is letting me know what's going on with the chat, and on Tuesday mornings, because Tuesday at noon we'll go live with this. Tuesday mornings, Paul and I will be in here with a very simple feed set up, just the two of us. And we might figure out some system to make the feed even more simple, so that we can just set it up without having to have people monitoring videos for us. Of just us doing session prep for this, because that way we'll make sure we have interesting stories to tell, but also so we can show off how session prep, how villain creation, how environment creation, how all the GM parts of things work in this game, and how easy it is to run this game. Because this is one of the easiest to GM systems I've ever played in. I played in a bunch of different systems, and like, oh my gosh, picking up and just running with this system is super easy.
It is. Like, I basically learned the system 20 minutes before demoing.
Before GMing your first session at a convention.
Yeah, and it went spectacularly.
Right.
So.
Well, it's because a lot of the tools are in the player's hands. It's a matter of like, hey, here are the GM tools, here are the player tools, here's how they interact, go.
Yeah.
And everybody's in it together. It's very collaborative. The gameplay is very collaborative.
So for one of my powers,
Yeah.
I'm going to be able to overcome any environmental challenges using my telekinesis.
Okay.
So I'm thinking the name would be Twisted Minds, Twisted.
So
Fate.
environmental challenges are frequently not going to be mines, though.
Okay.
Because the environmental challenges are going to be like, oh man, here's like a rock slide. It could also be like,
All right.
oh, here's some dinosaurs.
Okay.
So, but I mean, it could be like, if you're using
dinosaurs.
telekinesis for this.
Yeah.
Telekinesis would work, right? Because she could
Is that what you're?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
she could like prevent the rocks from
Yeah,
falling.
no, I'm saying that totally works. I'm just saying for name, it's probably not Twisted
Okay.
Mind.
All right.
So it might be Twisted Space, because you're just changing. Telekinesis
Twisted
is about changing
space.
something physically.
Right.
Telepathy is changing somebody's mind.
Okay. All right. Twisted Fate.
Sure. You have no green ability. Oh, because you have your yellow abilities.
Oh,
Are
shoot,
you
I wrote
writing
that in the
your
wrong
yellow
place.
abilities in your green section?
Am
Yeah.
I just wrote a green ability in my yellow section. So.
That's okay. Make
Come
sure
on,
that when you
kids.
put your yellow abilities in your yellow section and your green abilities in your green section.
I
Question.
did it correctly.
Hey, Craig.
I
thank
did it
you for
correctly
chiming
first,
in.
so.
Oh, wow.
I'm just kidding.
This side of the table.
I'm just kidding.
You know,
I know, we're just lacking.
explaining how much better you are than other players is definitely going to make the chat like you more, and that'll pay off at the end of this episode.
When
and
you
then I'm
don't
going to
die.
get more hearts.
I'm hoping that me being honest with my mistake
Yep.
will endear me.
No, that's what I'm
make
saying.
me human.
I was being sarcastic when I was saying people saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, I did it right the first time." That's how you get people on your side. The underdog card is going to work out for these two.
Yeah.
But don't
right.
make too many mistakes. If
Right.
Right.
you
No,
make
right.
too many mistakes,
You wanna
then
look
But if you
confident.
make a
Confident
couple
yet human.
mistakes, own up to them, and solve them,
Yeah.
people are part of that journey.
Yeah.
But if you never do anything right,
Then you're set back. Sometimes things turn out right, but when he tries his hardest to do something right, oh man, anyway, that's a whole. Man, making this system work for setback was fun.
I'll bet.
Someone says that if you're making a vampire, Adam, they suggest archery.
Artery.
Archery.
I get it. Cause like art.
Uh,
Oh, yeah, it's because you're a sculptor.
A sculptist.
That's a sculptist, right?
You do a lot of sculptory.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Are you not psychic anymore?
I'm going back. I'm changing things.
Oh
up.
no!
I know, right? Like I keep erasing stuff.
Because psychic is the name of the category, and I didn't explain that at that point.
Yeah.
So you got to be something in there. Yeah. Okay.
Well, yeah, I chose.
She told
I had
telekinesis.
telekinesis, but
Right, but it's now been erased.
I have telekinesis too, so if you're second doubting it, or second doubting,
Second
you
doubt.
know.
Well, you have your first doubt. So your second
Second
doubt.
doubt.
That's what
Listen,
really
I'm
falls
listening to
apart.
that underdog comment, and I'm trying to come across as endearing by using wrong words.
Explaining that you're now attempting to play other emotions is going to go well for you.
That just makes you look like a sociopath.
Well,
Adam explaining how a sociopath We should just go back to LARPing memes.
it was so much easier. I'm just kidding.
That's what's good about memes. They're easy. We're making characters. They're larger than life. Or maybe they're smaller than
it's-
life since they're some sort of goblin.
I might be a goblin, so I'm not sure. I keep going back and forth.
There's
I
no
had
way to know.
zombie written down for a second, and I was like,
Oh.
I don't know about zombie. Then my blood dagger isn't as fun, but I have a different idea for it.
Do you not have blood dagger anymore?
I know I do have blood dagger.
I need a name for
But
my green
I-
ability.
for my,
That's the
like-
only.
So tell me what your
This
green
one?
ability does.
My green ability is
It's
whenever
like-
I attack an enemy that has inflicted a
Looks like I'm
penalty
blind,
on
but-
me,
Okay.
ignore that
That's my
penalty
plan.
and gain a bonus equal to it for that attack.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so
So
cool.
I'm like, oh yeah, you're trying to affect me poorly. I'm like, it affects me great.
I mean, so like, I like the word fate in there in some way. I like reversal, like reversal of fortune or something. That is a cool ability.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's so cool. No,
Well, I'll tell you my other ones in the meantime, so you can see like the feel for this
progression.
character.
Yeah.
My first one is miasmation, like miasma.
miasmation.
Yeah. Boost yourself using Infernal. Use my max die and hinder a nearby enemy with min die. And then feed the blade, which is hinder using Starblight. Also recover health equal to min.
Feed the blade.
So bad.
Hey,
Tuppence.
I get that reference.
Have you your abilities?
Yes, I have all of mine.
So you told me about the one that was the
Absorbatrix.
The Absorbatrix,
Yeah.
right? Naturally.
I don't have fancy names for the rest of these. I have a modular design. Basically, I can boost myself with my power suit.
Sure.
Yeah, use my min and mid dice. Explain to me. It also says that it's persistent and exclusive.
Excellent.
Explain those to me.
I will gladly do so. Right now.
Yeah.
So persistent and exclusive are tags that mods can have.
Okay.
They're additional elements of those modifications.
Okay.
So bonuses or penalties. So when you take a boost action, you create a bonus. When you take a hinder action, you create a penalty.
Okay.
So let's say everybody spent a bunch of time giving you lots of boosts, and so it's on your turn, and you're like, I'm going to use all these boosts. Yes, you can. You're like, all right, I've got a +1 and a +1 and a +2 and a +1 because everybody spent all their turns giving me boosts. So I roll my die, I take the mid. The mid's a 5, but I got a +1, +1, +2, 1 +1 +2 +1.
1 + 1 + 1 + 1.
Excellent. And so that makes my 5 into a 9. Okay, great. Except a persistent, and then after you do that action and you use that bonus, all those bonuses go away.
Okay.
Those bonuses are gone.
Okay.
But when you use a boost that is persistent and exclusive, exclusive means you can't use it with any other friends. You can only use that one boost, that one bonus alongside that action. You can't use any other bonuses.
Gotcha.
But it's that's the exclusive nature. But it's persistent, meaning after you use it, it's still there. It hangs around. It doesn't go away.
Okay.
So your suit allows you to make bonuses for yourself that hang around. You give
Gotcha.
yourself like upgrades that hang around until the end of the scene.
Okay. That's handy.
Or until something removes them.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, if a villain has a persistent upgrade of some sort, you can go and you make overcome checks or hinders to try to destroy that upgrade.
Gotcha.
And get rid of them.
Okay. So those are my 2 yellow abilities.
Okay.
And my green ability is my heavy steel framework.
Sure.
And it is physical damage reduction.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Excellent. And I wouldn't be surprised if somewhere in like your archetype or something, you find some ability that lets you approximate those lightning fist punches you were talking about. That wouldn't surprise me.
Yep.
Questions?
I'm still thinking.
Okay.
I named one of my things Goblin Shriek, but I don't know if I'm going to stay a goblin.
But you can always change the name of that.
Yeah,
But
that's
you've
what
got
I
your
think.
abilities. They work
Yeah.
properly. They hinder using your...
So this one says when another. So this one is a redirect.
A reaction.
So, yeah, it's a reaction. So when another hero in yellow or red would take damage, you may redirect and defend by rolling your single. And I chose presence, so it would be like alerting people to my existence.
It is notable, you might want to write in there, you may redirect it to yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't
say
write it. I didn't write it to myself, but I knew.
Okay, I just want to make sure you know, so because like sometimes you could redirect to like, oh,
Another
you're
thing.
attacking me. No, attack your friend. This
Yeah.
one you could only redirect it to yourself.
Yeah.
So I would almost even call it like goblin taunt, but
I don't want to make more.
or taunting shriek then is
I
solves
don't
the
have
whole
to worry
goblin
about the
problem.
whole, like,
And you
am
can
I a
figure out
goblin?
you can do a taunting shriek no matter what you are.
Yeah, there was a zombie name before the goblin name. It was not that.
Or all the zombie names just okay. Cool. How you doing, Paul? This is why we don't give you a microphone. Just chuckling in the corner.
So what's this? You can shriek like a goblin even if you're not a goblin. Celine Dion, for example.
She's a goblin.
Wow, harsh.
Whoa.
Wow. Gonna be nice to people here. We're all about positivity
Sorry.
and
Yes, that's
and
true.
zesty blood.
Forgive-
So
Forgive me, Celine.
Adam,
Yes.
got our stuff?
Yeah, I'm still working on that name, but
That's okay.
I
We
can
can
come back
to
to that. Yeah. So
Before-
I need. Yeah. I'm
before
ready
we
to
move on.
Yeah.
Not
Ray,
yet.
are you satisfied
Yeah.
with your stuff? Now,
All right,
do
I'm-
note that both of you two get an additional information quality with at a
Oh, yeah.
D10. You both get one more D10 quality from the information category. So you pick one of those, and there's just another thing you happen to know about because of the mystical nature of your abilities, and because of the natural nature of your power
Criminal
source.
underworld.
You know more about the criminal underworld because you're like one of those gothy vampires that hangs out in industrial
I-
clubs and like.
You're really channeling Blade right now. Like,
Like I'm just like you go. Oh, what's the right one? Criminal underworld. Like
Yeah.
if you want to be like this
You go to
grim
a-
dark vampire.
A secret club in a meatpacking plant set.
Right. It's all like that cold blue steel.
Yeah.
And then there's
The green tile.
and it's all vampires, but there's some humans that are like just
Right.
cattle.
They
that
think
are
that they're there for
Right.
for a party,
They're
and they sort of are.
no, they're there
but
for a
not
party.
in the way that they think.
They're on the menu.
Yeah.
I chose otherworldly mythos
Okay. All right.
so that I wouldn't have to deal with you guys making this noise anytime. I
Oh, we'll still make those noises.
Yeah. You can't stop us.
I mean, we were stopped effectively for half an hour before this stream even started.
Oh.
Too soon.
Wait, you're. Oh, you're not a doctor. I don't know why I decided you were a doctor.
No. I'm
You're a
not.
scientist.
You're a
Yeah.
scientist.
So, like in some ways, you could be a doctor in like the non-medical doctor way.
No.
No.
You don't have a
have a
doctorate.
doctorate.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was just tinkerer.
Oh, okay.
In my
What was your day job?
That's a good question.
I'm just curious.
That is a really good question.
It's somewhat irrelevant now, but it still like informs who you were.
Now, I didn't have one. I just had money. I had an
Were
inheritance.
you a garbage money person?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
He was like, oh, I'm gonna make a metal machine to walk around in because walking's too difficult. Oh, it's so much effort to move my physical body around. I'm gonna make this machine do it for me. Okay, all right.
Also, as a baron, apparently.
Yeah, sure.
No.
Wait. You can't have children. Understood. Right. I thought we weren't doing those laughs on the stream.
You can't stop it.
All right.
Yeah,
Did you
I'm just
pick
creeping
an
by
extra?
nature.
Yeah. You got otherworldly mythos.
Yeah.
Okay.
You just
I'm stuck between medicine and technology.
Medicine and technology. Okay, so do you are in some way from the stars, of the stars in
Right.
some way. With your knowledge, with your cosmic knowledge, do you know about how machines and metal things are put together? Or do you know about how physical bodies, about how like natural bodies?
Natural bodies.
Yeah,
Medicine.
you've been watching the
Yeah.
humans
Yeah.
and stuff.
Right.
You know how things are made. You know how organic things are made. That's medicine.
Medicine.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
that's what I would say. Okay, so everybody's finished all of their power source section stuff. Yes. Cool. So now the next thing you do is you look at the bottom of your section. For mystical, you're going to roll 1d10 and 2d8. What do you need? You need 2d8. 1, 2. And for relic, you're going to roll 2d10 and 1d6.
1d6.
So hand me all that back. 2d10 and 1d6. And what do you need, Craig?
Trade me a d6.
There
You
go.
gave me 2d6 and 1d10.
Oh, I was trying to cheat you.
That's what I roll.
All right. And roll to see. And now we're going on to page 35 where the archetypes list begins. Archetypes, this is like possibly the most important part. Everything we've been leading up to now kind of tells where you came from and how you first got your powers. Now we're talking about, okay, but this is really who you are as a hero. We built the framework of what sort of character you are. This is what kind of superhero you are.
Fault siphon is my move.
Fault siphon.
Yeah.
That's cute. I like
Yeah.
that. Okay, so you've got 3, 4,
So I've got
7.
physical. What?
So yeah,
Is it like
and
that?
this
Yeah,
is
so you,
Okay,
so you
this
get
is also any 2.
So yeah, this is any 1 die you rolled or any 2 dice you rolled.
Okay.
Okay, so I've got physical powerhouse,
Mhm.
marksman,
Mhm.
or
So you also looking at this, you also before you get to 8 have 7 because you have 3 and 4.
Oh, yeah,
So you have
so-
armored. 8 you have flyer. 8 and 3
11.
you have sorcerer, and 8 and 4 psychic.
Psychic.
So those are all different options. And if you don't like any, you can reroll. Things to think about.
I just want to be like a crazy strong goblin.
I mean, you can do that. You could be aghast, and then when somebody does something that's like improper, you could say, "I, for one, am
Am I
aghast,"
gassed?
and then like,
Okay.
"Yes, we understand that you're like a
No one will.
a slightly more solid and mean ghost person."
It's kind of fun.
I'm just saying, it gives an
Marksman
opportunity
would help with
for
my
frequent punnery.
daggeriness.
So, do you throw your dagger? Are you a marksman where you throw your dagger and plus your dagger is attuned to maybe the blood that pours from your dagger is your blood constantly? And so, sure, you can throw it, but then also you can draw it back to you and recall your dagger to you constantly?
It does. So for my hinder, I chose blood wave, and I decided it was acid blood, and it can blind people.
Mm-hmm. That could still be your blood.
That could still be my blood.
Right.
Yeah.
Why are you so creepy?
I can't help it.
I
was
really,
bored
really
before.
enjoyed that the first conversation that you and I had today was a conversation with you and Paul and I in which you protested that you were not gothy at all.
I'm not. I just happened to like. It just worked out that way.
And I said, "Oh, now you're gonna make a really gothy character on the live stream." You're like, "I'm not."
I didn't mean to.
And then you did.
The dice were against
You have
me.
so many options and
It
infinite
sounds
rerolls.
way cooler. Okay.
It's okay. You're just attracted to the idea of gothy type stuff. You're not gothy. You just like gothy things and have kind of a gothy vibe in general. But
Yeah.
you're not gothy.
Thank you. Don't give me that look. I rock a lot of pastels for gothy person.
Baby goth.
I taught you that word.
You've given me weapons.
Oh.
Okay,
I don't know
so
if you're still a goblin named the Goblin.
That might be perfect.
The fact that you like that.
Well, I mean, give the people what they want. I want to be the favorite, right? Like, I'm just kidding.
so I think I'm gonna do something weird,
That sounds like
like
you.
real weird here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm hyped.
So my options are speedster, shadow, physical powerhouse. Then I also have flyer, elemental, manipulator, and robot or cyborg. And I'm thinking that
Oh my gosh.
I have a sort of like arcane mechanical parasite that comes off of the sword,
Yeah, well, I was gonna say,
basically. That's
like, what if part of the curse of it was that, like, when you picked it up, it like
It goes-
infected you.
Yeah.
And you.
so it's not strictly speaking like I have things implanted in me,
no,
but I have
You
this,
weren't a robot cyborg.
I'm part
you
of this
are
relic now.
That-
Yeah.
the sword and you are inseparable.
yeah.
And as much as you would like to have the curse lifted from you, it is who
It's
you
part
are
of me now,
right?
yeah. So I think I am going to go
Robot
with
cyborg.
with cyborg.
Before you go down that path,
Yeah.
because once down that path you begin, forever will it dominate your destiny.
Right.
I want to point out that just take a look at in the chart itself on page 36 the powers.
Yeah. I looked at
that
it.
it gives you and the sort of principles you're going to get out of it too.
Mhm.
It's like, is that direction you want where you want to be going?
I think I
with this
can make it.
Okay.
Yeah. I think so.
So when it says required, does that mean that I have to have strength in order to acquire powerhouse?
No, it means that you are going to gain strength.
Oh, okay.
You're going like
That's
you'll-
one that I
this
have
is a list
to-
for things
yeah.
you'll pick from. You won't pick strength. You will get
Get
strength.
strength. Okay.
Just like the shadow gets stealth.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I ended up with the armored archetype.
one did you get?
Like it.
You're just
Okay.
going.
Armor.
You want to be your power suit, your armor. The thing that you're
Yeah.
doing is specifically this build.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, and that was just.
More about Ray's character.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we know very little
Yeah.
about you. You've been very quiet over
I'm still
there.
trying to figure her out. Yeah, I'm gonna go with armored because of that orb that I talked about
Oh
earlier.
sure. Do you wear the orb?
I can, but
Yeah.
I also want to have an orb where when it opens, it just takes out everything. Takes out oblivion or something.
Sure. that sounds like a nice power level. If you could just open the orb and take out oblivion, that'd be good.
Right.
So you're saying that like so armored is the idea that you yourself like are you're wearing armor.
Mm-hmm.
You're an armored person. Is that what you're going for?
I also have the weaponry, right?
Right, you can
Yeah.
get weaponry out of it, and for sure you could make the orb into a signature weapon out of that, and you'll get those abilities and things. But yeah, armored makes sense to me.
Yep, I get him.
I'm trying to figure out. I'm looking it up. Maybe you can tell me though before I get there. What the difference between inventions and gadgets?
Sure.
Is
So
the
gadgets
distinction.
Tachyon has inventions. Wraith has gadgets.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
Yep. That's
I thought that would do it.
Yep.
Okay.
Does that mean I get another signature weapon?
You can if you want to. These are all things you pick from. When you
But it says
if-
required. So, but I already have one, so
Anytime,
it doesn't matter.
yeah, right. Whenever
Okay.
something is required, you just move on from it. It will.
Okay.
Is there something in the listing that says about like if you have to take this thing? If you already have it, just keep going. You've already gotten it.
Cool.
And if you want to, you can assign dice. So like this is your zesty dagger is a D10. If your zesty dagger, your zesty blood dagger was a D6, you could swap this into it, making it a D10, and gain your D6 back out to use for something else.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but you've already got it, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, I don't have to stress. They're too cool. It's hard.
You will figure it out. I believe in you. I don't have any more. I already did my computer party tricks. I don't have any more cool things over here to show off while we wait.
Oh. This is hard.
Yeah.
Are you? Oh. Part detachment. Does that mean I could lose a limb?
Part
Can
detachment.
I lizard that?
Sure. You could
I
like,
like that.
fling your. You don't just throw your sword, your knife. You throw your whole arm, or rather, you throw your knife and your knife isn't coming back to you. So you throw your hand and it grabs the knife and then it walks its way back to you.
Yeah, I like that. What? Don't question it.
Okay.
I'm just thinking about it. I didn't say I was gonna do it.
There's a request that you model your vest. Isn't your vest?
Oh, thank you. This is a normal. It's a linen vest. It's
Show
got
the
a bit of a pattern on the back. It's a white and blue pattern. It's just a nice navy blue. It's got 4 patch pockets. This is very lovely. This patch pocket is perfect size for a business card. This patch pocket is perfect size for a business card turned the other way. So.
Sorry, I thought that was really funny.
So I'm trying to. I have basically an extra D6. I'm going to take it in athletic power.
Oh, that makes sense. I mean, you're going to get up in it.
Yeah.
You got close combat at finesse already.
I have close combat and finesse. Yeah, at D10 and D8, and so D6. I was thinking of taking. Well, probably strength or vitality, is what I was thinking. But like it's a.
I feel like so. I mean, vitality
It's
makes a
only
lot
a
of
D6.
sense.
I
Right.
like-
Vitality makes a lot of sense because
Yeah.
you've got the cyborg curse
Right.
thing running through you, so that's gonna make you necessarily hardier and stronger.
Yeah.
I could justify strength, but it feels like
justify
your
both of them,
right.
yeah.
But it feels like your character is going in less of a strength fighty direction and more of a finesse fighty direction.
Yeah, I think so.
And so, like, yeah, either of them are justifiable. Depends on which. Are you gonna put two hands on that sword and swing for the bleachers, or are you gonna like move deftly and be able to take a stouter blow?
I think that I have what I need as in terms of fighting style. I think I'm going to take strength because like outside of combat,
Yeah.
that seems
Potentially
more
very useful.
more applicable. I made this weird line after this H. Okay.
People are wondering if your shirt is peach or salmon.
It is orange, but because I'm on an orange background, it doesn't look orange. The thing is, it's orange and white. It is a gingham, and so it is hard to tell. Oh, here's a closer shot of me, in which you can maybe see that it is an orange and white gingham, and therefore the white makes it look not as orangey as the orange wall behind me. And when I sat down today and looked at that feed and went, oh, hey, there's an orange wall behind me, I will not wear an orange shirt again in the future.
I feel left out. We're the only two. This side of the table has not been asked about our shirts,
I mean,
so everyone else has.
step up your shirt
Mine
games.
can't be
Yeah, I have a band shirt on, so.
Pink Floyd.
I have
Yeah.
mine.
It
Two
just looks like
color-
it says
two-tone
flow
shirt.
to me.
Oh yeah, that is.
It's wearing your flow shirt.
It says Florida after this.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
Pink Florida.
Pink Florida. Okay, so then I get a technological power I do not already possess. And this one is a little bit.
If I have a
weird.
vehicle,
I get a
it'd be, like,
D10
big enough to
technical
carry all of this.
So,
like I have
I'm just going to toss this out there.
Yeah.
a cab that
It's
follows me
possible
everywhere. I'm not
that I could
Cab?
make
I know.
gadgets.
I'm just making things up.
So,
Like a-
if you
a
had
signature vehicle,
gadgets,
basically, there's,
like
constantly,
maybe I was
but
the
it's
one
like
who
a-
gave them
it's
to
an
you,
important part of
because
who
I
you are.
have
Skateboard.
inventions.
What?
A
That's not
skateboarder?
awful, and if like I'm
A
out in
scooter?
space and trying to survive, like, and I need to.
How did that fit
Oh,
into the
and
rest
I
of
have
your
this,
character?
It doesn't.
you know,
I
or
just am
whatever.
asking.
That's not
I'm
horrible.
looking at the
Yeah.
marksman one because
Yeah.
I was really thinking
I
about
think
that
it's
for the
better than
dagger usage.
robotics,
Yeah.
certainly.
And it has
But where's-
signature vehicle.
But you don't necessarily.
Are there,
You have to
you only,
do it.
you only
I
have
just
three
think
dice to
there's-
choose from.
I know.
so-
I'm just
Page
thinking about like,
81.
what is it?
Yep,
Would it be
I'm actually
useful?
holding that page right
Yeah,
now.
but
Okay.
like,
Well, let's see what these are.
Because like I don't really have that much.
I keep skipping it.
I
There
don't
we go.
have any mobility things. So
I don't either. I am.
So I was
really
thinking,
slow.
like, in that
Technological
regard, like-
tools generally built by someone else.
I mean, I think I could use like telekinesis
invent
to
my
move
own
around and
tools.
stuff. Like
That's
I could
not
right.
rely on a thing.
yeah.
A technological suit with a variety.
I mean, like if there's a specific
That's
vehicle, you're like, oh
right.
man, I really
I
want
mean,
this thing for story. Like
having a
this makes
suit
sense for
isn't
my character. That's
necessarily
that's what the signature vehicles are.
yeah,
Is
Yeah.
I
generally
mean,
about,
like I could
having
consider
something
this
that
a
like, is a
suit
part of who you are and stuff.
that
So if
like,
part of that is like
Can you
your
like give me? an
is
example?
built in, and
Sure,
I could go
like
and
Chrono
make
Ranger,
like
Right.
his time
helmet
skimmer, this,
stuff.
he has
And,
robot horse
you know-
that he rides.
Okay, that makes
Like if
sense.
you were doing like a
Oh,
Ghost Rider
so it's
character that
between
had a
power suit
motorcycle.
and gadgets.
So like,
Yeah.
yeah, like Void Guard Mainstay would have his
Power
motorcycle.
suit doesn't
It was
have
like, here's the thing:
to
is this
be
person's
like
like
Iron Man
always
type
uses
power
power
suit.
suit.
It could be
So,
like
okay, cool.
Spider-Man power
Silver
suit.
Surfer has a
Yeah.
surfboard.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah, that makes sense. What about swinging? Like,
Colton says you could have a hearse.
I know that's what I was thinking.
But the question is like,
could it
what are you
be-
doing with that thing when you are in space,
It's floating right next
inside
to me.
a building? Like, so it's a matter of
it
like,
shrinks down.
it does
It's
it?
in my pocket.
Okay, so like there's a thing. This is like there are definitely directions you could go with this. It's just a matter of like,
Does it make sense? Yeah.
Does it make sense for your character concept? Justify it to your character concept. Great, we're good to go.
Okay. I don't really know that it does. I was just thinking.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
And you took inventions, is that right?
Mhm.
Okay.
I'll just do sorcerer.
And I am just really super hardy. Because my...
You're like a hardy boy.
Yeah, exactly. That'll be my name. Hardy boy. No.
Big hardy boy.
But yeah, I have both of my green abilities so far are damage reduction. Like one of them.
One's an inherent, one's a reaction.
No, they're both inherent.
Okay, one of them reduces all the damage by 1/2/3, and then the other one
Just physical.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
By 1/2/3.
Yeah.
All right. Go for it, hardy boy.
Okay, gadgets or power suit? Because
So
I get this for free.
Right. So a thing that I did with Timeslinger when I was building him for the core game was I took Power Suit, but then modded it with GM's approval to be Power Arm, because he's got his Power Arm. So you could do a similar thing where you said, okay, because of the organic, the techno curse that goes through my body, it has replaced some part of me, and that's like it's an internal power structure.
Yeah, I think.
But is it powered though?
Like, I mean, yes.
Okay.
In as much as I am able to do infernal stuff, and that probably comes from that also.
Sure, because
so
it is coming from the curse.
Yeah.
I mean, that sword is your power.
It's not.
Source
There's not a battery in it.
Right.
But
okay. It's powered by infernal energies. Yeah.
So. Yeah, I think that might. Yeah, that's probably right.
Is there nothing else on that list that jumps out at you more?
Well, so it's gadgets, inventions, power suit, robotics, right? Inventions are not right. Robotics are not right.
Right. Gadgets, you could have gadgets, but
the case for gadgets is there in that, like, hey, I'm an astronaut. I went out here on my own.
Right.
I brought some things with me, and I have these. They weren't made by me.
Right.
He can continue to give me some stuff.
Right.
So like that's a possibility.
That's a case. But do you see your character as more of a gadget user, or not?
Probably more of a power suit.
Okay. Go for it.
I might rename that, but
yeah, of course.
Once I come up with a little more about it.
Totally reasonable.
Suggestion just means that, like, I'm really persuasive.
So it's in the psychic list, I believe?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so it's suggestions like where you force your will upon somebody else to suggest that they do a thing.
Oh, kind of like.
And you're like, oh, exciting! Mental suggestion.
Okay. What information knowledge does everybody have? You have. Did you take medicine?
Yeah, medicine and deep space knowledge.
Okay. I already have magical or otherworldly.
Oh, these are all greens. Okay.
Yeah, make sure that when you're writing down abilities, you're putting them in the right box.
Oh. I haven't done that.
This is a boost.
Yeah, as part of this, you'll be adding powers, potentially adding powers and/or qualities. You'll be gaining green abilities, and then potentially some red abilities, depending on the archetype. And the last thing you'll do is gain another principle. So you'll go back to the back of the book to page 85 and look at principles. But that's last. How's everybody in the live stream doing? This is the part that I was worried is like, this is the bad television part.
It's really good, actually.
Good.
So Dave and I are talking about whether or not you stacking over damage reduction is broken. And we're going to keep an eye on that in the game and see.
I'm not too worried.
I'm not too worried either.
I don't think it's a problem. Like, here's the thing is, you've got 2 green abilities that reduce 1 damage / 4, 2 damage / 4 damage / 6 damage, and as a result, you don't have another green ability that lets you do something else different. So sure, you can survive longer, but A, it takes you longer to get to your sweet abilities in the yellow and the green and the red zone, and B, like, that's your thing. Your thing is you don't take damage. Okay, cool.
Can you describe finesse?
So finesse is doing something deftly, sleight of hand. So like juggling, sneaking something out from somebody's notice, being dexterous.
You know how like kids say it now, like in the term of stealing, like they say they finesse something.
Yeah.
I stole it. It's like that idea. That's slang.
This is the thing the kids say when somebody says I finessed it. They mean I stole it.
They mean that they stole it.
Okay.
Yeah.
In my generation of old people, when we say we finessed something, it means we used finesse to solve a problem.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, they did too.
I did.
Right?
Well, back in our
doesn't
day,
specifically
also
mean
there was a
thievery.
means of solving problems, which was just hitting something mechanical,
Right.
and that
Like
was
if you could use percussive
you could
maintenance.
just do it.
Like
that.
on an old computer or
Old TV,
yeah.
you could just hit it and it would start working.
But
for
if
no
you
good
finesse
reason.
it, you did it not using
Right.
percussive maintenance.
People are
How
wondering
could your
if
day
you
sound
are making a character that has a bunch of like pre-made potions and wands and stuff. Would that also be gadgets, or is there a different way to get there?
Yeah, I could totally build that around gadgets, and then what I would do if I were going to build it that way, if I would probably grab gadgets and then rename gadgets to be some potions or something like that. Wands I would probably build as signature weaponry. But yeah, that would totally be fine.
So people are impressed that Maggie is so well versed in thievery.
Disturbingly well versed.
What can I say? Doesn't matter if we mark on these, right?
Oh, don't write on. Yes, of course. You
I
can
was
totally
gonna say,
write.
I wrote all over this.
No, that's the final copy. Whatever you write on that piece of paper goes to print in the book.
Leave me alone.
I mean, it's not without precedent.
Let me know that creates a dangling word situation.
Where did I get presents from? Oh wait, that was an innate thing.
So I'm assuming ranged combat is the opposite of close combat.
Right, close combat is punching, fighting with swords, daggers, whatever. Close combat. Ranged combat is shooting, throwing, blasting. And so the question is like, do you use your cosmic orb to like strike at things that are nearby, or do you like shoot beams of energy out of it at people?
I know I've asked you this before, but when it says gain 2 of the following green abilities using 2 different powers,
Yeah.
does that have to be the ones that I picked here?
No.
It can be any of them.
No.
Okay.
If they needed to be from the ones that they picked there, it
Okay.
would say 2 different powers you gained this in this archetype.
Okay.
This might be stupid. What's
So you know what precognition is?
Yeah.
So precognition is cognition, knowledge of a thing before it happened. Postcognition is knowledge of a thing after it happened, which seems like a dumb thing. What do you mean knowledge of a thing
Yes,
after it happened?
that's exactly.
But you walk into a room and you put your hand on the table and you're like,
Oh, I can
Flash.
sense what happened.
I know what
here.
happened in this room 2 hours ago.
I can tell when this tree was cut down.
Yes.
You
okay.
pick up a die and you're like, oh, this die was in Christopher's pouch an hour ago. What? How did you possibly know that?
That's kind of cool.
No, it is. It is.
This is great. I'm actually really digging
So-
this character.
We were wondering if you throw your hand with the knife in it, and
Right.
the knife hand runs around and fights, is that ranged or close combat?
I would call the throwing of the knife ranged combat, but then the actions that the hand makes while it's out there, out and about, close combat.
I don't know.
People are also wondering if we can get copies of the finished characters that you all make here. please.
Yeah. When the characters are done, not after this session, but like before the April 17th session, I will be putting everybody's character sheets online, and Adam will be drawing their characters.
We'll see. Yeah, I will.
I don't want to speak out of turn here.
Yeah.
But you're gonna do it. So yeah,
Dang it. I don't have any combat skills.
you don't need combat skills. But check it out. You have the Zesty Blood Dagger, so you're like, I'm gonna attack somebody. I'm gonna use Zesty Blood Dagger and Investigation to investigate their innards. I'm gonna use Zesty Blood Dagger and Alertness to stab them in the right place.
If I do Zesty Black Dagger and part detachment, can
Please
I
make
throw
this
it,
disturbing.
or will you not let me?
I mean, of course I'll let you throw
Per
it.
character.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna let
It
you.
just might not be like very accurate, or.
I'm gonna let you. It
Okay.
depends on how you roll. It's not up to me.
Are really creepy.
I'm gonna let
I'm
you
just
do whatever
thinking,
you
like,
want.
If it's not
Creepy.
yeah.
You have a cursed sword.
Yes.
I'm not creepy.
Listen,
That's creepy.
That's-
Well,
you came
it's not.
from the
It's
stars
not as
and you
creepy.
just float around. That's not creepy.
It's a space curse. It's less creepy.
Yeah, that makes it less
it's
creepy.
only
The more
Lovecraftian now.
unknown, like
I really did not know what to expect when I came in here today, but
I
it
almost
wasn't
picked
this.
wall crawling too.
Oh my god, you should have done. Oh, that's so weird.
I can do wall crawling.
Wall crawling and you just do it
Oh,
backwards
God.
all the time. You always climb like the ring girl across every wall.
Crab walk up the wall.
Yeah,
great.
I did pick wall crawling. Thanks,
So,
guys.
just out of curiosity, what like with this with what you've got building here, I don't buy, but I can be convinced. Sell me on it. I don't buy part detachment. Like I'm wondering. I'm
well,
wondering
I
how
was
that.
Did you
For
just
a
pick that
minute-
because it was creepy?
Like, because, like everything
for a
else you're
minute
doing,
I
I'm like,
was, I was gonna be a zombie thing.
okay. So
But
like
I
parts of
haven't
you would fall
decided.
apart.
Yeah, I haven't decided if I'm a zombie yet or not.
Yeah.
So I guess I might change that out.
Right.
But I'll just pick something else in the self-control area, like shapeshifting.
That
Which
could
would be
work.
a fun one. Like if I was a vampire, shapeshifting would make a lot of sense.
So you put cause investigation is this and suggestion is this.
Yes.
Where did suggestion come from?
Suggestion came from. Oh, did
Okay,
I
so this is the
take
power list,
Yeah, I know.
and this is the quality chunk here.
I was in.
Mm-hmm.
Did I do this wrong? Sorry.
I think so.
Okay. Fair. I was in the sorcerer section.
Sorcerer.
Sorcerer.
I thought you went marksman. Okay.
No, I
So
decided just
first
to-
off, when you were making a mystic character. I'm just backtracking
double
here.
checking?
So we've got you picked up telekinesis of power. Presence is from your power list. It should be. Yep.
Yep.
Yes.
And then the signature weapon.
Wait. Where's
Telekinesis was from.
yeah? Where's presence?
Presence is right there.
No. Where is it not on your character? Okay. That's fine. That's fine. We're good here.
Telekinesis pen.
Yeah, cool. And then teleportation, great. And then you guys, your
I didn't
Zesty
do-
Blood Dagger, good to go. Okay, so then we go to Sorcerer, which is where we should be here. Yeah. And so you are gaining these powers.
Okay, sorry. I guess I got confused in this section. I thought.
This
but
section
is-
here, powers/qualities.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
That's why I was looking at
Yeah,
this list.
right. But the list you should pick from is this list, which is the same list. But what I'm telling you is you've put powers in your quality list.
Okay, but okay. I just don't. Is this the same thing on?
Yeah.
Okay.
My point is, you cannot possibly have part detachment as a part detachment as a quality because it's a power.
Okay.
So
Then.
this is what's going on here. Okay, cool. So real quick, also post-cognition and wall cleaning. This is because I'm confused. The thing I was confused about is how you kept adding more and more and more. Because when we finished, because we erased these two as well. When you finished doing your power source, then it has you come over here to this thing, and you're assigning your dice, these 3 dice, to things.
Oh.
You cannot possibly gain more than 3 things
I
right
got
now.
you. Okay.
So it says you assign at least 1 to one of these things, and then all the rest of these qualities. So if you wanted to, you could gain 1 and 2.
One-on-one.
Yes.
So
So
I
at
could
least
do-
1.
Okay.
So you can gain 1 or more. If you wanted to, you could gain 1 quality, 1 power and 2 qualities, or 3 powers and no qualities, or 2 and 1. But you can't gain more than 3 because you only have a D8, a D8, and a D10.
Okay.
Cool. I was like, wait a minute, you just keep gaining powers and qualities. Where are they coming from? That's what I was confused about.
Okay, I think that
Ray,
I
how
need
you
to
doing?
name these, but
Doing good. So I'm in my green abilities.
Right. So you got 2d8 and a d10. Where did you assign your stuff? You could put. So first off, what did you gain for your powers and/or qualities here?
For the armor,
Yeah.
the signature weapon.
Oh, you got the orb
weaponry.
as a d10.
Yep.
Cool. And so then you got 2d8s, the persuasion, and the range combat. Great. That makes
Okay.
sense. And then you got the following green ability. Boom.
Yep.
Armored. And at some point you can rename that, but like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
And so I
And-
moved on to
then you gain 3 of these green abilities using 2 different powers. So you need to pick so there's 5 different abilities there. Pick 2 of them that you feel don't fit you, and then the other 3, make the various choices. Yeah. And it says using 2 different powers. If you want to use 3 different powers for those 3, you can. You just need to use at least 2 different powers. You can't use like 1 power for all 3 of them. Okay.
Can you explain the last?
Oh, here. Yes. So Unstoppable Charge is an action. You attack using is power/quality, so you would pick a power or a quality to apply to that. And then you ignore all penalties in the attack and you ignore all defend actions, and it cannot be affected by reactions. So you attack somebody, let's say they had hindered you by like putting some sort of curse of immobility on you, and also they had a giant shield, and also they were ready to react to whatever you did. That action would allow you to ignore their penalty on you, ignore their giant shield, and ignore their reaction. It's just an attack that cannot be stopped by any means.
Is that Unstoppable Charge?
It is Unstoppable Charge.
I took that as well.
And you can, but you could also, but like that's the thing. You could build that. You could like theme that up as a charge,
sure.
or as an energy blast, or as a call-in strike. Like there's so many different ways you could position that. So.
Oh, excuse me.
Maggie.
What?
In your quality list, part detachment and post-cognition
Oh, they're powers.
are powers.
Duh.
If you want to, you can put them all over there in the power list, and that's fine. And your only qualities would be alertness, magical lore, and other worldly magic. But you might be better off adding 1 or 2 qualities to round out both of your sides of your list.
Okay, so principles on this. None of the expertise principles really fit.
That was my only concern with you
Yeah.
going into the cyborg direction.
Right.
I don't know. There might be.
I looked through them and I didn't see any. I have a proposition of in the.
Well, I don't know. I like tactician at the top of page 92.
That's not horrible. It's like
Yeah.
a different direction though.
Right.
Really. I was thinking in esoteric principles, the principle of space.
Okay. I'm just going to real quick look through
That's-
these expertise principles real quick
Yeah.
because it's where you're supposed to be right now.
Yeah, I know.
And that was a note that I said to you. I was like, well, going into the cyborg thing, does it work for your character? But I think that we can make something work here. I say mastery doesn't work very much because you are not very
Right,
knowledgeable
I'm
about your
not-
powers.
Right.
Yeah.
Everything else fits.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay. Boy, these pencils do not write very well on the bright orange.
Yeah, I have a print version of that character sheet that I needed to
Oh,
pull out that has those boxes are just faded. This is just an older version of the character sheet that I happen to have
yeah.
a ton printed out of from Gen Con last year. But we're gonna make up new versions of these for the. I'm gonna type everybody's information in.
And like put their character image on there.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're gonna have nice looking sheets
Yeah.
when I'm done.
So I also ended up taking deflect.
Okay. So when somebody asks you a question, like a pointed question about what's going on in your life, you're like, oh, but
Right.
I've been working on this project.
Bring up another
Yeah.
subject.
Right, right. And also I took Unstoppable Charge because, like, that is totally actually a charge.
So deflect is a defensive thing, right?
Yeah, yeah. Hey, you'll be proud of me, though, because as I'm choosing my last principle here, I did not take Principle of the Indestructible.
What principle did you end up with? Because you ended up with an expertise principle, I believe?
Yeah. I ended up going with Principle of the Lab.
That makes sense.
Basically, I have unlimited access to a dedicated research area.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and I largely took that. I'm a scientist. I needed that space, but I mainly took it for the major twist. The possible major twist is something went wrong at your lab. What was it? And I'm really excited for that to happen at least once.
Yep. And you filled in your during roleplay, minor twist, major twist, and green ability. Awesome. Great. Great. Okay. What's up?
Am I waiting to do the esoteric principle?
Yeah, no, you should do that now.
Okay.
You've already done all your green abilities and your
Yeah, I
power
chose Power Blast, Energy Jaunt, and Living Bomb.
Cool.
What? Are you confused? Did I do it wrong?
Yeah. I'm confused as to how you got... So you were up through here on your powers list before getting into your archetypes, and up through here on your qualities list. So you have 3 dice to apply to powers and or qualities. So
Yeah. Oh, sorry. There's one that I meant to erase. Wall calling should be gone.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. I'm just trying to make sure that everything goes right there. Okay, so yeah, once you've done all of your powers and qualities and abilities, you go on to choosing a principle. So same thing, go to page 85 in the back of the book, or actually, it depends on the category. You'll like esoteric principles, I believe for you is 87. So pick one of those principles. Yep, and this goes in the other principle section. So you'll have the 2.
I'm just thinking of names now for these
Yeah.
abilities. So
Yep.
I need to
and that's the
name
thing,
my power suit also.
Yeah, we can always go back between now and April, mid-April. We can rename powers, rename things. But doing it now, anything you can do now, of course, is going to be like while you're thinking about it a bit easier, and not end up with me having to be like, guys, it's the day before we go live. Give me the names of your things.
Right. I think that what I end up naming the suit is going to function sort of like an AI in my head talking to me, like in the way that the sword would talk to me, like we were talking about before.
So it's
all intrinsic,
right?
So,
we talked about the sword being cursed, but it's not the sword that's cursed. The sword is affected by the same curse that is going to now infect you.
Right.
And the name of that curse is what's going to be in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you need to give it some sort of, and it's an AI, but it's also not like a programmed AI. It's like an organic AI.
Yeah, it's an organic.
And it's in some way magical because it's a curse.
Yeah.
So like
it's this weird.
It's a supernatural AI.
Of magic and technology. Can you look up some names for that?
Yeah.
All right. I'm determining my health during step 7. I may use a technological power instead of athletic or mental quality. If I choose, I probably will.
And you can look. You can flip your sheet, a list of powers and qualities over, and look at it and see what step 7 is to understand better what they're explaining there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Ray, how you doing here? Looks like you... Did you get them all?
Yeah, I got them all, but I'm thinking about how this relates to my character.
Okay.
The qualities and...
Okay.
Yeah. What did you take as your...
Principle of Exorcism.
Ooh.
It says, You can detect the subtle hints of the influences of other realms in an event, and I can overcome entities or elements from any other dimension using my max die.
Nice.
You and everyone else gains a hero point.
Nice.
Yeah, that's your green ability.
Okay, but like.
Right. So like the.
Yeah, I see the
Right.
overcome. I'm just writing in the.
This
Right.
is such a weird team.
Yeah.
We've got our sensory bases covered too, if you can do that, because you can get the otherworldly influence.
Mhm.
I can tell if something's wrong with time
Right.
Oh,
because of my principle of the time traveler.
And she
She can tell if
do
something's
space
wrong with
stuff.
space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Surely.
What can you tell us what's wrong?
I
when
just
something's
innately
wrong?
know something's wrong all the time.
Oh yeah,
Just all the
did
time.
you take
I'm
the
just like, yeah,
whisperer
it's
one?
not, things aren't working.
Did you take-
How are they not
Oh,
working?
okay.
I don't know. They're just not.
Something's wrong
I
somewhere.
thought
Yeah.
about whisperer.
Mm-hmm.
Not helpful.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
Adam, I would take a look at the bottom of page 89.
I'm on page 89.
Yeah, the very last principle, it's on the bottom of
Mm.
page 89, might be a better fit than the principle that we talked about. But like up to you, your choice.
Yeah.
I'm fine with going either way on that.
That's hard to say.
Mm-hmm.
Really, like what I need to decide with that is how intrusive that voice is. Is it like,
But like it's there.
yeah,
Like that's the thing that was convincing to me. Is like you already
Yeah.
talked about that voice being there. You already
Yeah.
have that voice that's constantly at you.
but is it like,
Go ahead.
is it a voice like, they say like Iron Man's AI is that just tells me useful information all the time.
Right.
In which case, like it wouldn't really.
No,
have
then I
this-
wouldn't really. Right.
But
Or is it actually?
or is it something that's
Like constantly.
Hard.
Well, I
trying.
mean, it
Yeah.
is a curse.
yeah.
It's not like it's not a bonus. It's not an upgrade.
Right.
It's not a suite. It's a curse. You are in some way cursed. And that is a question that I'm going to want to ask you. And I was going to wait until you were a little bit further along.
Mhm.
In what way are you cursed? Yeah, you've got some like metal bits in you now or something, and you've got
Yeah.
this sword, and it's a voice in your head. But all those are like just straight upgrades. In what way are you actually cursed? What
Mhm.
about this is a curse and not just like awesome?
Yeah. Right, because right now I am just awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Like the full potential of this is going to be you're just awesome,
Right.
Because you're a hero. But there's going to be there's some sort of aspect of like but like where does that come from? What's the minor twist here?
Right. Yeah. You know what? I'm convinced. Yeah, I'm gonna switch it to Principle of Whispers.
Yeah.
People are looking at the camera and are wondering what the people on the bottom page 89.
Yeah, they
Oh,
are.
That is-
That's because that's the one
what
we're talking about.
Principle
So
of
it's called the
Whispers.
Principle of Whispers. During roleplay, I hear a voice in my head that no one else hears. This voice tells you things which may be true or false, but the voice certainly seems to know a lot. My minor twist would be, how does the voice in your head distract you? And then the major would be, what is the voice demanding of you now? But then the
think
green
of some
ability I
sense
would
of
get from that is that I overcome against a challenge that involves information I have no real way of knowing and use my max die.
And that was the thing that was the
Yeah.
part that you were like, I just I have this intuition.
Yeah,
That kind of goes with this gut
right.
intuition
It does.
feel.
Yep. Yep, that is better than space.
I write too big.
That's okay. I'm gonna type them all up later.
Oh, I feel bad for you.
Yep.
I've got bad handwriting. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
I'm left-handed.
That's not really an excuse.
I don't know. That's what my parents always
But,
said. Is
but
that's
you've you've
There's
lived your whole life writing with
plen-
your left hand.
There's plenty
I-
of left-handed people that can write very well.
So so I got bit
You're
by
just saying you're a little sinister.
I got bit by a dog when I was a kid, and I had a cast on this arm while I was like learning how to write, and I think that that's probably why.
That's your
but
tragic
my
origin
parents,
story.
yeah, it's my tragic origin story as to why I write bad. Like, also, my dad kept trying to make me be right-handed. Left-handed people are the devil.
I mean,
Sinister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Literally.
you are going through this. You are going through this process and not proving that untrue. Like you have the power here.
I was born creepy. I can't help it.
right. Okay.
Maybe like we have a tragic origin story, we get something sad that happened.
Yeah. I have many tragic origin stories.
That happened in June in Ohio.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's a tragic origin story.
Yeah.
I
Once
get it. Oh, like the
In June,
like the convention.
I went to Ohio.
All right.
Okay, so that is. So I believe everyone's got their stuff. Finishing up principles. You have 1d10 over there?
Yeah.
I need 2d10s.
To clarify, Adam, I'm wondering, does that mean that it's your cursed sword whispers in your head
Mm-hmm.
the things that, like, try to make you do ulterior purpose? Is that character concept?
Yes.
know what
Yeah.
but I don't know
Which I have some ideas for that, but I want to talk about those privately because it might be reveals.
Dun dun.
Yeah.
Adam, hand me some of your dice.
Yes.
And I'm going to give you
All
back
of my dice.
some of your dice.
Okay.
Everybody roll 2d10 and turn to page 58 in the thingamajig. Are you good? Do you need anything else?
Nope.
Okay, cool. So yeah, turn to page 58 and... And again, you get the thing. You both roll the exact same thing. That's great, but I mean, it's options. You get the numbers you rolled or the combination of the both of them. So you both have 10, 7, 10, and 17. And if you don't like your options, and these are your personality. Sorry, we're rolling for personality now. Make sure that on your first sheet, under power source, you wrote your power source, and under archetype, you wrote your archetype. So you got your archetype there, but not your power source. Just flip it back over. Power source.
Yeah.
I think you were mystical.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was right because you were both
The
mystical.
category.
Yeah.
Oh.
No,
And then,
sorcerer is your
yeah,
archetype.
I got that. Right.
Okay. You were both mystical. Yeah. Craig, did you get your characteristics on your first page?
Yes.
Cool. Just making sure.
I do things correctly.
All right, yeah. Craig racking up the
I think I'm
points.
just gonna go with alluring, right? Like,
No better option.
An alluring
I haven't
creature of the
decided.
night.
I haven't decided what I am. yet.
Sure,
Whoa,
sure.
that's original.
I know, that's why I was like, I mean, that makes sense. What if I'm like naive? I'm just
There-
like,
there
really, just like, just good natured.
There's nothing wrong with tearing your
Yeah.
arm off and throwing it at somebody holding a dagger. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes it happens.
I'm gonna go with naive.
All right, that's
Yeah.
great. So go ahead and turn to the chart and do the thing. It's not just about this.
Yeah.
So naive.
So I'm convinced this
Okay.
D10 only rolls ones.
So green
So-
is
Oh,
a D.
wait.
No,
So-
it's other side. Yeah.
Yep. And that's your status dice. They go here. Boop, boop, boop.
1, 6, and 7. So lone wolf.
Oh wait.
Lone
Well,
wolves
it's not
aren't
bad.
great for
Let me read
teams.
this. Maybe I don't know.
It's almost like it's in the name.
Yeah.
Are you rolling again?
Yeah.
Cool.
Distant. That's not horrible.
3 and 7.
7.
So sarcastic. Oh no, 3.
took analytical.
Impulsive.
Yeah, or stalwart.
And then the same thing you got before, because 7 is stalwart and 10 is alluring.
I think I'm gonna.
You can re-roll this side if this is the same as what you rolled before.
I might re-roll.
Or you
because,
could-
like.
If there's one that's specific on this list you just want, you can
That's-
just take it because this is, like, that's what happens in the constructed method. But if you want to roll for it, the purpose of the rolling is really to reduce your options and direct your character.
I mean, distant might work.
So you can. It seems like you can just kind of ignore the dice rolls at any step of this
Yes.
selection
Yeah,
process.
if
If
you're like,
you
I know
wanted
exactly
to,
what archetype I want, but I don't know the other 3,
Yeah.
you could roll for those, but then take the archetype you want.
Okay.
The thing you cannot ignore is the dice sizes. Those
Right.
are limiting. Those are like mechanically limiting. Whereas the dice rolls are supposed to be like, okay, instead of reading this list of 20 options,
Right.
here's 3 to 5 that it makes the menu a little bit more palatable.
I think when I was sarcastic.
Sarcastic. That sounds like an easier thing for you to pull off.
Yes, that seems more
I was like, how are you
likely.
gonna? I'm looking forward to seeing Maggie try to play naive every week.
I can't. It's very difficult for me.
Whereas sarcastic, you don't have to roleplay at all.
Exactly.
What is stalwart?
Stalwart means that, like, in the face of danger and things, you keep a stiff upper lip. You're strong in the face of adversity.
You don't have descriptions on any of these yet.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking about Stalwart. I was like, I don't know what that means. So
I'm just gonna write Google it after each of these words. That'll be in the book.
www.google. Let me
Google that for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just make them all links.
Out ability. What does that mean? Out ability.
That is the last you have your green abilities, yellow abilities, red zone, out.
Oh, I
so
didn't
that
see
just
that, yeah.
goes exactly into there.
So I'm thinking of going impulsive.
Okay. I mean, you're the sort of impulsive person that even though you're an astronaut with training, you just grab a sword off a pedestal.
Yes.
What did you do, Maggie?
Sarcastic.
Sarcastic.
So,
What do you got?
I haven't looked to see if there are guidelines for making up this quality.
We could be sarcastic together.
Oh, for the role-playing quality.
Yeah.
It's something that fits your core concept.
So, I'm going with mechanics.
Stoic might work for you too.
So here,
Really good
that's very uninteresting to me.
Okay.
The Wraiths is wealthy CEO.
Uh-huh.
Unity's is former intern.
Okay. Okay.
Legacy is America's finest.
It's more character based.
You could be
than-
naive
Gotcha.
because you're from the
Abilities.
States.
It's not like mechanics.
The Lorraine would work
That's a
for
regular
me.
style
It's-
quality.
Be like
It's
all like sexy and
descriptive.
shiny.
Yeah,
Okay,
because I
right.
have
Something
telepathy,
that,
so
like,
I'm in their minds already.
You could boil
Yeah,
my
you should
character
do that.
down
I think
into
that
these
makes sense.
couple words.
Right.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before I did that.
Yeah.
They're really
Yep.
As like, I would be willing to give, because I was saying, like, man, if you want the quality, I'm the best at everything, I wouldn't give it to you. I would give that quality to guys. Guys could have the ability, the best at everything.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, look, this is my quality, but actually, I'm going to make that, like, bite him in the butt all the time.
Okay.
Whereas, like, the guy's like, oh, check me out, I'm the best. Is like, yes, that is the quality of who you are as a character. That's not a quality of your ability to do anything.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
that's how you, because that quality is then used as kind of like a modus operandi. They're like how you do everything.
So for my hinder, if I have to choose, like, it wants you to choose one of your powers.
Right, so you pick one of your powers, and that's the one. So
Okay,
for
never
sarcastic,
mind.
yeah, it's just
I was
quality
looking
now.
at yeah, that's what I was looking at. Could I use like
Yeah.
otherworldly mythos and be like, I throw a book straight at your face?
Yeah, you hinder an opponent, so you describe the otherworldly, like their downfall of the otherworldly mythos. Because this is when you're out. This is when you're like down and out.
Yeah,
you're not
yeah,
necessarily
yeah.
unconscious.
Or alertness. I
I
was
know
trying
what
to
your
I was
quality
trying to
is.
think.
Oh.
of
If I were writing your character sheet, the
Uh-huh.
quality that I would write for you is ahead of my time.
Oh,
That's a good one. Yeah.
You are literally ahead of your time, but also you're like that is who you are. Like, oh, I'm ahead of my time. People don't appreciate my genius, and now here you are ahead of your time.
Yeah.
Like it works on multiple levels. That's what I'm looking for. It's a joke that also means a real thing, just like everything else I do in life.
So, Christopher, they're wondering on the live stream what your descriptive quality would be for you as a person.
Liar.
that's what I would say.
What my D8 role playing quality is. I mean, actually, storyteller is not terrible because like that's kind of how I do everything.
Yeah, I was trying to think of like something more
Jokey.
unique. Because a lot of people tell stories.
Right.
Well, how do you tell stories uniquely?
Best storyteller. That's
Loudest
tough.
storyteller.
I almost wanted to say like colorful storyteller because that tells you something about like
That sounds
that's
like
not the right one.
That sounds like you
word
use the
exactly,
swears.
but- yeah, but it tells you like you're like a colorful dresser also.
Right.
You know, and
Yeah.
like that's an aspect of
Yeah. Snappy.
and
That's my
the
story.
way-
That's my role playing quality. Snappy.
Snappy.
There's another word that's
I bet you're
better that I
confused
can't
with
think of right
snippy.
now.
Can't be that much better.
People
It's
just-
snippy.
people just-
That's what that is.
Professional liar.
Professional liar. My role playing quality is I seem nice. My D8
Yeah.
There you
role playing
go.
quality
Yeah,
is I
that's
seem
it.
nice.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's good.
that was my Twitter account for a long time. When I had a personal Twitter account before I only had a professional one.
Nice.
So now, because I used
Now
to
it
tell
just
people
seems that
I seem
way.
nice, and now I didn't say I used to seem nice.
That's funny. I like that.
Um,
I don't know what my quality is going to be yet. Do I have to think of it right now?
no, you can
Sit
you
on
can
it.
you can you can you can mull
Marinate.
over it.
Yeah.
So yeah, but make sure that you get your status dice in there. You can skip the quality based on the hero's backstory. We'll come up with that. That needs to be done before mid-April.
Yeah.
You need to write in your out ability. This goes in the very bottom section of your character sheet in the gray box at the bottom of the sheet. And then you choose 2 red abilities from the list in the next section. And that starts on page 64. And once we're all there, I will explain how that whole section works because it's weird.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's really fitting.
What is it?
Um,
Which personality did you end up with?
I went with impulsive.
Okay.
Um,
And when you're out?
Nice. The hero who goes directly after you may take 1 damage to reroll their dice pool.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
I can help you with my curse.
You're like, no.
Yeah. I'll hurt you a little bit, but
Just a little infected.
Right.
It's a little cursed.
yeah, it's just a little
Slightly cursed. It's not a big deal.
Just like a baby curse.
This is just for fun.
Yeah.
Because I know this is just a draft.
Yeah.
But I discovered a typo.
Oh!
And it's a very funny typo.
Tell me more.
It's
Page.
It's on page 65
Okay.
in the mobility powers. It is
Calculated
calculated doge.
Yeah. That's the best typo. Calculated doge.
I'm long and hard about that one.
Okay.
Red abilities.
So we're each going to get 2 red abilities. So on page 64, 65, 66, 67 is this giant chart. And the way this works, the stuff that's on this chart is the same information that's on page 67 on for a giant chunk until 73. And it's that, okay, if you have an athletic power, you can pick one of these red abilities. Like if you have an athletic power, I'm looking at the very top of the first chart in page 64. If you have one of these athletic powers, you could take the red ability Major Regeneration, and like those are all the things here. So you're going to want to look at the powers and the qualities you have. Those are going to determine what your red abilities or what red abilities you have access to. And then you'll look through and you're like, okay, I've got some like intellectual powers. That said, when you're using so like if you gain, if you had flying as a power, and as a result you went to page 70 and you took Takedown, which is a flying power, and the very first power on the top page 70, it says attack using power, use your max die, then hinder that target using your mid plus min die. Great, it's an awesome power. When it says attack using power, that power must be from the mobility category because it's a mobility power, red ability. Right. You're using it with the red power from that category. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So as you're looking through the chart, and you can look at the chart, but that's just going to tell you what things you have access to. You're going to want to probably go through an actual look at the descriptions of like what these abilities do. And you get 2 of them. And they can both be from the same category. They can be from 2 different categories. It's all up to how you want to determine your red abilities, which are like your biggest, powerful, scary abilities. And if you have any questions, I'm ready.
That's one. That's... Not too far. Not too far.
We've gone too far this time.
Yeah, that seems. Yep.
For dire control, it doesn't say
Which page?
Page 70, sorry.
Okay.
It doesn't say what power I have to use, so since I have psychic powers, it just automatically works.
So dire control specifically.
Am I crazy?
Where? Oh, here. Because it doesn't use any powers. There's no bracketed stuff.
Yeah.
So that's why it doesn't have one listed.
Okay, I just
you
wanna make
have to
sure.
have a psychic power to be able to use it. But if you have that, then you
Yeah.
can just do that.
I got like
And that goes in your red ability
loads
section.
of psychic powers.
Okay.
I just-
Which was the hardest of the starter kit heroes to roll?
I was going to say Unity, but she was the hardest. Her archetype was the hardest to write. But that process kind of went hand in hand. When we were making the starter kit characters, we first wrote, because we knew how the system worked. So we first wrote how the system, the question, sorry, Paul asked the question, somebody in the chat asked the question via Paul, which of the starter kit heroes was the hardest to write? And and now I'm happy to give a long-winded answer instead of a simple single character name, because when we were first creating the system, we first created how all the heroes worked, and we just made all these heroes. We made the Freedom 5, and they worked, and that was great. And then we reverse engineered out of them a character creation system, and then we threw those original heroes we made away entirely, built the character creation system that worked really solidly, and then rebuilt those characters out of the character creation system, and they came out slightly differently, but actually even more specifically themselves than they even started. So it was this weird multi-step process. And so Unity, I think, was probably the most challenging out of that because her archetype was the hardest to write because it was the most complicated. The Bunker's also was, but Bunker had a much more definite endpoint. So I think Unity is the answer. So yeah. And I'm happy to take more
Alright.
questions. Although it sounds like,
Well, I got my first red ability.
what'd you pick?
Um,
From what
I call
category?
I'm calling it Shared Affliction. I remove a bonus on a target. I hinder with Deep Space Knowledge, and then I use my max die, and that penalty is persistent.
Wow.
So that it's,
Something you know about space.
Yeah.
Your
It's-
forbidden curse knowledge allows you to.
allows me to go. I'm going to share my curse with someone else, basically.
Gross.
Yeah.
I've taken one of my red abilities as well.
What'd you get?
I haven't named it yet. It's the ultimate weaponry
Okay.
thing, though. Boost using my power suit. Use my max die, and that boost is persistent. Then I attack using my mid die plus that bonus.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Finally, so you take forever to get to the red zone because of all your defensive abilities. Then you get to the red zone and you're like, oh no, I didn't want to be here.
Yeah.
Let me do a giant attack.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do this. I think there's this one here called Full Defensive. That's hinder yourself by rolling your power die. You're immune to damage until the start of your next turn. You can't do it again this scene, but the idea of like the curse just going around me, and like it protects me, but I'm also not taking part in anything. And when I come out of that, it's
I want to push that even further.
Yeah.
I love the idea that you're holding a sword.
yeah.
Something happens,
Yeah.
you are sucked into the sword. There's nothing but the sword. The sword
Oh.
drops to the ground, point first, and slams into the ground.
I get
There's
sucked
just
right
a
in.
sword there. There's nothing but the sword there. The sword can't be damaged by any means.
Right.
And then after a round, you like pop out of the sword, and you're like, oh, that was weird.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
So yeah, there's a question here about like, my friend really wants to run this, but has a lot of improv anxiety.
Yeah. So fortunately, this game is not, I wouldn't call this game terribly like improv heavy. I mean, you could make it so by not doing much in the way of planning, but if you've planned out like, okay, these are the things you're gonna fight, these are the situations you're gonna have here, you don't have to do so much improving as prompting improv from others. You're gonna give people a situation, you're like, hey, here's a situation, you're in this scenario, here's where you are as the heroes, here's where the bad guys are, what do you guys do? And they're gonna kind of improv their way through the scene. Additionally, the biggest creative stuff is like coming up with major and minor twists on the fly, and that's again something you're going to frequently put in the hands of your players. If you're like, hey, here's this minor twist, first off, what are your principles? Do those come from those? If they don't have an answer for the principles, feel free to ask if you yourself are like, man, I don't have anything here, I don't want to come up with something. We're gonna have a ton of guidelines and stuff, both in the rule book, and then we're gonna have like a GM screen that has it on there. But even still, beyond that, if you want to, you could poll the players and be like, hey, Adam's in this situation here, he's got this major twist. Does one of you guys have a cool idea for this? I'm feeling on the spot. I don't want to be on the spot. Make somebody else do it. And as long as you guys, as a collaborative group, come up with like, yeah, that's an appropriate level of danger, then so I guess the advantage of this system is that not 100% of the onus is on you to make it happen. There's a lot that the system is going to do in terms of the heavy lifting there, and also what other people at the table are going to do. I hope that's helpful.
To kind of elaborate on that, there's one game that
I know,
Yeah,
I know
this
exactly the game
Yeah.
you're talking about.
I ran a game at PAX Unplugged.
Yeah, last fall.
Yeah, that it was just a starter kit, which starts out pretty straightforward. It's here to fight some robots, right? And in fighting these robots, they had major twist after major twist after major twist, and they ended up creating an accidental hurricane in the middle of the city, and then rubble falling on civilians, and then they blew up a truck, and then Unity made a fan bot that then malfunctioned and shot the fan blades into nearby civilians, and like just thing after thing kept going wrong. It was
That
this
was all
whole
from them.
subplot from the players' actions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was all from their actions and
All
their
from them.
suggestions.
I made up none of that.
Because I remember you came out of that
Yeah.
and you were telling me, so they just like really wanted to screw themselves over. They kept,
Yeah.
they'd be like, oh, a twist, this happens. And you're like, okay.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so,
This
yeah.
is on you.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing is that this game, the more excitement everybody's having at the table, the more fun people are, suggesting things and having a good time, the more the game shines, and the game does a good enough job providing for those sort of opportunities that even if somebody or two people or three people aren't like contributing, they're not as much into it, it'll detract from it as it would in any game, but it's the game still can progress and move forward even without that.
So they also asked, okay, do you have any advice for dealing with players who want to like power game instead of try to like just lead to more map?
Go for it. Like that's the thing is like if you want a power game and you want to make your most like overpowered, super over the top character, that's fine. Go for it because the difference between a character that rolls 3d12s all the time versus a character that rolls 2d6s and a d8 is pretty marginal when you look at the overcome charts, when you look at the boosts and hinders. Like the system is made to have like to the focus being of the progression of the story, the storytelling. And if you are in a party where some people are super min-maxed over the top and some people are not, there's not going to be.
It's really hard to min-max this.
Yeah,
like
it
you
really
can't
is.
really.
Right.
The
Well,
best you can do is have like the highest possible dice, and even then, it's not gonna like you don't just automatically win at everything.
Right, and so that's why I'm saying like, if the thing that brings them joy is I want to make a super min-max character in character creation, go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Find your bliss, do that thing. You're going to fit in a game alongside somebody who's making all the decisions purely for story reasons. It's going to be fine. It's going to be great, and everybody's going to have a nice time. And that way you can feel like, I made this thing where I'm going to be just the punchiest. Great, you're the punchiest. Whereas other people are having a fun time being the character that has this cool backstory about zesty blood. So, Unless, are you the punchiest? Is zesty blood?
No. I chose dire control and major regeneration as mine.
Cool. I'm going to have you between now and April 17th
Rename them.
rename them.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I just couldn't think of anything.
I came up with the name.
Nice,
for
because
mine.
you do everything right.
Yeah. So my ultimate weaponry that I have is actually a kinetic redistributor.
Of course.
Because like I've taken a beating and I've just been gathering it up and storing it up, and then I unleash it all at once and just and then I have my other red ability is what I'm calling Steel Trap. I can overcome using technology, use my max plus men.
Oh, cool. Very
And
nice.
mind like a steel trap.
You do.
Like that.
Nothing gets in. Wait.
Yep, exactly.
Cool. Did you come up with
Yeah, I
some
had a
abilities?
question.
Yeah, of course.
Could you explain the minions?
So minions are bad guys. There's 3 types of bad guys in the Sentinel Comics role-playing game. You've got minions, you've got lieutenants, and you've got villains. Villains have character sheets like heroes. Not exactly like heroes, a little bit different, but they're a villain that has a character sheet with powers and qualities and status and abilities. But minions are controlled by a single die. Whereas like, this is a d6 minion. When it attacks, it rolls its die, and it deals that much damage. When you attack it, so if you are building a pool of 3 dice, which is what you do when you're attacking, we'll talk more about that next week, or next session, first session. You build a pool of 3 dice, you roll those 3 dice, and you take your mid for the attack. I rolled a 2, a 4, and a 5, so 4 is my attack against this minion. When the minion rolls its save, it rolls its own die. It rolls a 1, so it fails a save, and it's destroyed. However, if it succeeded, if it rolled a 6 and managed to beat this 4, no problem, it doesn't die, it survives. But it's still a minion. When a minion gets attacked by a hero, it can't get away scot-free, so a minion is reduced from a d6 to a d4. So, if you attack a d12 minion and you succeed and you fail, you roll your 3 dice, you get your mid of a 4, and the minion is like, I'm a d12 minion, I rolled a 7, I block. Yes, it blocks. Yes, it survives, but it is reduced to a d10. Because a hero attacked it, it can't get away scot-free. So that's how they work. So with dire control, you select a minion, and that minion, instead of being a bad guy who's out there fighting against you, joins your team. Now, I will note that she also took that red ability, so you don't necessarily want to have that much overlap. But if it's perfect for your character, it's not a problem. Just make it a note of it.
Okay.
Do you like it better for your character?
Well, I was just wondering how the minions worked.
Okay. Because I could be persuaded to switch mine. You want it really bad.
Yeah, minions are kind of like the lowest level of bad guy, but they're used a lot. There's a ton of minions in the game, one way or another.
Yeah, because I could use summoned allies, and you could have dire control if you wanted. I would be okay with that switch.
Oh, just make a bunch of like little rats.
Why would it be rats?
Because that's the creepiest thing you can think of off the top of his head.
Rats made of blood. Blood rats.
Blood rat.
Snakes.
Yes.
Blood snakes.
Blood
There you
snakes.
go.
Blood snakes. Yeah.
I like snakes.
Have you been convinced? Are you slowly convincing yourself? You know what?
Maybe snake. Yeah, maybe. I'll see what Ray does.
Okay.
Or spiders. Spiders.
I like spiders. Somebody here doesn't like spiders, though, so I
I
would
do
do that.
not. Yeah,
I also don't like spiders.
I don't
but
care
that's
about
why
you.
I think it.
I'm just kidding.
Did that get me pathos points in the chat?
No, probably not.
If you're not afraid of spiders, you're not paying attention.
That's fair. That's fair.
Did I show you the video of Rachel holding a spider in Australia?
No, I wouldn't look at it. You tried to.
I know.
Yeah.
Haven't you seen the cute little spider on Facebook?
No.
You're not on Facebook.
Haven't you seen the blank on Facebook?
No. Yeah. It's this cute little animated spider that talks. His name's like Henry or something. I don't know. It's a little wolf spider. I'll show you it later.
I
Don't worry.
like spiders well enough. I don't know
It's
why I need
adorable.
an animated talking spider.
Nobody needed it.
Okay.
It's just cute.
All right.
It's like
This is
Nope.
the internet. Nobody needed any of this.
Except for goat
I thought you were
videos.
controlling the internet. What happened to your controlling the internet concept? That went out
I
the window as
didn't
soon as you heard about blood.
Internet.
No way.
I happened to like the dice. The dice gave me this, except for sarcastic. I chose that because it made most sense, and it would be easiest for me to play into.
Just gonna look at these backgrounds.
Oh my gosh! Yay!
You took what was it?
My background is otherworldly. I guess I probably could have turned that around for technology at some point if I
So
really
you
wanted
had
to.
9, 10, and 19 to get otherworldly, which means you could have been a performer or a military person or otherworldly. And so you could have been like military and like, I'm doing like internet things, or a performer where you could have been like a fun, lighthearted,
I
juggling
could have
circus
been an
person.
internet personality.
You could have been a performer,
A YouTuber.
I could have been a YouTuber.
But
I missed
as
out
soon
so
as you saw,
bad.
as soon as you saw
I didn't think about
otherworldly,
that for performer. I was
Start
like,
over
blood.
Can I write a whole new character? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Really?
If you can do it by the time that Ray picks her
Oh
red
no,
dice.
dude, that's not.
I said
You
that
might
this
have
film was
a lot
going
of
to go
time.
from noon to 3.
What
It was
time
my
is it?
guess. It is currently 2:53, but we didn't start until 12:30. I'm very proud of my ability to guesstimate how long it'll take 4 people that don't know the system at all to make characters.
No, that's actually really good.
Yeah, because we're right on track.
Yeah.
So is it better for us not to have the same red abilities?
Usually just so you can have a little bit more variety in terms of things you can handle and things you can deal with. But if you want that red ability,
I told you,
Maggie's
yeah, I'll
very
switch it up.
convinced to switch to summon allies because then she gets blood snakes.
Well, I was thinking about ultimate weaponry.
Ultimate
And I
weapon
know
is just
that-
a generally, that's a great attack. There's
Yeah.
nothing
Don't
wrong
make
with
fun
that.
of me. Blood snakes is an awesome power.
Did you say butt snakes?
Blood snakes.
But what if you had said blood snakes?
I mean, that could probably be a good power too.
Maggots on in yours.
Oof.
All right.
Nothing's all right anymore, Craig.
Ever.
Never. Nothing was all right in the beginning.
I gotta name all this stuff. Yeah, I think I'm good to go though.
I ended up taking your ahead of my time quality,
I think
by the
that's
way. It's a
good.
good one.
Yeah.
Sorry.
They want
That
you
was
to draw
fine.
butt snakes now.
Please don't draw butt snakes.
Please draw butt snake.
I'm not throwing a butt snake.
I was like, we can go around the table voting on who wants to, who wants it more and who wants it. Who
Yeah,
wants
but
it not.
I get a vote that's worth 5 though,
Right.
because I'm the one drawing.
Oh no, I also am voting for no butt snakes.
All right.
So
So that's 6 in favor of no butt snakes.
I think that
It's probably
Craig also said no
7.
butt
I
snakes.
said no.
Ray's
Okay,
on my
so
side,
7
right,
in
Ray?
favor.
Just say yes.
Yes.
Doesn't matter.
7 versus 2.
Paul, where do you come down on butt snakes? Pro con.
I don't get a vote.
Oh, okay. Paul doesn't get a vote.
Okay, so what's the next step here? Does everyone have their red abilities?
Looks
Yeah.
like Ray's
One
just now
more.
writing her
Ray needs
last.
one more.
Like that.
This retcon
Now they're trying to
is
figure
the next step.
Butt snakes are snakes with butts. Or snakes that live in butts.
They are neither.
They're
So-
snakes that attack primarily at the butt.
Nope, none of those things. They are snakes that only occur. They are naturally occurring snakes, and they only occur when something else is going on that could not possibly involve snakes, because they are butt snakes.
Oh, that's better. That's much better.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I'm just gonna have a glass of water, but snakes. That's what they
You
are.
go to
Good
do
way to
something.
kill your GM.
I
and snakes
solved-
are surprised by snakes.
Right. I solved the problem of butt snakes being weird and gross by just making it an interjection.
Butte snakes. You can
Mm.
butte snakes. Like
That's a
kind of-
butte snake.
Oh, I meant like B-U-T-T-E.
Yeah, I know what you meant.
I like
Oh, it was
There's
clear.
a cliff made of snakes.
as long as it involves snakes, I'm happy.
I like snakes, and that's uncomfortable.
A cliff made of snakes?
Yeah.
That's too
A
many.
man named Cliff.
Made
Made
of
of
snakes.
Hi, I'm Cliff.
Cliff
I'm not
snake.
touching you.
Yeah, your ass.
All right. So, red abilities.
Yeah, next step then is retcon, right?
Yeah, we're gonna.
I got it. I'm
Okay,
gonna go with
okay.
critical eye.
Oh, cool.
I almost did that myself.
Yeah,
so-
that's a good one.
Yeah.
And you got the information stuff, so it makes sense. And then what quality are you boosting? Oh, because with your like deep space,
My purse.
because you've got to use it with an information quality, because it's from the information quality.
Okay.
Um,
Is it
Section?
persuasion?
I almost took that
persuasion,
one
I
too.
don't
Oh,
believe
no.
is information quality.
That suggestion maybe is. Well, no,
because
that's not
information
there
qualities
either.
are all these ones here. So, but you can do critical eye with your deep space knowledge.
All right.
That works.
Ooh, that's kind of
That's like
that's an interesting way of theming that.
Seeing from the cosmos.
That's my.
Yes.
That's my.
all seen. Essentially.
Oh,
it's the
no.
other one there.
Yeah.
Discern weakness is with deep space knowledge.
Nice.
Okay, I can write this later.
I made
Okay,
myself
cool.
like freakishly tall.
And then, so now we
Like
go
as
on
a
to
kid, you're a
page
goblin.
73. We're going to page 73 in the book.
Depends on the type of goblin.
That's true. Maybe
Because like certain ones are big.
I was on 70.
One.
Oh, okay.
70.
Go to page 73 now. And so it's time for a retcon, in which we're going to, you have the ability to change a thing if you need it. So you can swap 2 dice within your powers. If you're like, oh wait, this power, now that I'm done with this character, I realize this power is more important to me than this other power. Or same thing in your qualities. If you're like, wait, no, hold on, this quality is more important than this other quality. Or if maybe your role-playing quality that you made is like, wait, this is super important to me, maybe you want to bump it up. You could increase your red status die by 1 size instead. You could change your red status from a D8 to a D10 or D10 to D12. How about you don't do anything until I've given you the options? Because every time I say one, you're like, oh, that one, oh, that one. You could add a D6 power or quality from any category. So if you're like, man, for this character concept to work, it really needs just one more thing. You could add 1 more power or quality from any list to your sheet at a D6. You could change either of your principles to any other principle. So Adam, I'm going to say you kind of did that already.
Yeah, you kind of did.
That's what
I
you
was
did
gonna
there.
say that too, yeah.
Or you could gain an extra red ability. You could gain 1 more red ability and have a 3rd red ability. So like Adam, you didn't find a principle that worked for you,
Right.
so you took a principle at some point and
Took
through
my
the
retcon
retcon,
early.
you
Yep.
solved it.
There we go.
Yeah, then that's what that step's there for exactly.
Yep.
So So yeah, so if you have nothing, you're like, man, I don't need to change anything about what I've got going on, I would suggest either increasing your red status die by 1 size or gaining an extra red ability.
Now, is there a situation down the line that I can alter any of these things?
Yeah, there's a lot of altering that can
Okay.
happen. There's between session character advancement
Okay.
that allows you to, that gives you a lot of opportunities to
Okay, cool.
switch
I
things.
thought that said 16. I was like, what? It says D6. I was concerned.
I'm considering taking the leaping path.
That makes sense. You could do that.
I really like
Big
that.
leaps.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Though, maybe not.
What did you end up taking? Did you decide yet?
I increased my red to a D10.
Nice,
Yeah, I
nice.
thought that was a solid choice.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
only thing else I was thinking about was like ranged or was thinking about combat because I don't have any combat stuff, but I've got the knife and everything, so
Yeah, you're just going to have to come up with ways in which that you're applying the knife to the situation.
yeah.
So, because since you don't really have any combat skills, you're going to have to do some finagling there. But
Yeah,
I believe in your ability to do so.
Yeah, I'm rethinking the part detachment part because if it's a power and Zesty Blade is a power, then how
You
could
can
they
never use them at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
I was saying, that's
So,
what I was saying. You would
you'd be
attack.
like,
You would throw the blade. That's
Okay.
one turn. Another turn, you'd throw an arm to go grab it and bring it back or something like that. But you're not using them at the same time. That said, if part detachment was just for that joke, you could still throw the blade without the arm. Because wall crawling, I super liked the creepy wall.
Yeah, I think
like
I'd
that was
rather have
such a
wall
creepy
crawling.
thing. And if you're not using either of those powers for any of your abilities,
I don't think so. I'll run through and double check. I think
Okay.
I might have been using it for one.
okay.
I ended up going with momentum.
Oh,
That makes a lot of sense as a big, heavy...
You're a dynamo.
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Yep. Cool.
So I have D12
For create-
in my qualities, but I don't have it as a status die. Am I rolling? Ever gonna roll it?
Yeah, whenever you use your creativity quality, you'll roll the d12. Whenever you do anything in this game, you're going to roll 3 dice. 1 from your powers, 1 from your qualities, and 1 for your status.
Oh, okay.
And so you're going to roll 1 of these dice, and 1 of these dice, and 1 of these dice to do anything in this game.
Okay.
And so you will roll creativity as often as creativity is the correct quality for you to use for an action.
I guess
And you'll determine that.
All right. Yeah. I think I'm switching my dice for medicine and deep space knowledge.
Oh, because Deep Space Knowledge is currently D6?
Yeah.
That makes sense. You know a bit about medicine. You know how bodies work.
Right.
But Deep Space Knowledge, you know how the cosmos work. You're part of them. That's a great change. Okay. You got your, so has everybody gotten their retcon?
Yep.
Awesome. So now we move to page 74, the next page of the book. We're going to determine your health. So grab your note cards because we're going to write some things down on your note cards. First, write the number 8. Then write the maximum of your red zone die. So if it's a D10, write 10. If it's a D12, write 12. If it's a D6, write 6. Then write the maximum of any choice of any one athletic or mental quality. If you don't have an athletic or mental quality, you just take a D4.
I can use materials or technology.
I can use power suit.
Right. So if you had an option during your character creation that said, hey, when you get to the health creation step, you can use a different power quality from a different list, then it would have mentioned that back then. And if you need to look back, feel free.
What did you just say?
So what was your... Thanks.
You
What was your archetype?
Armored.
Armored. So let's go look at armored. Armored says when you determine your health during step 7, you can use a materials or technology power instead of athletic power or mental quality if you choose. So let's look at your athletic powers. Do you have agility, speed, strength, or vitality?
No.
Do you have mental quality? Sorry, alertness, conviction, creativity. And you want to use creativity.
Creativity.
You want to
Oh,
use
yeah.
that because then you
Yeah.
write 12. That's the biggest number you could possibly write.
Okay.
So far you've got an 8, a 10, and a 12. So everybody has so far 3 numbers written down, correct? Whoop, whoop. Then after that, I believe... Yes, and then, so add those 3 numbers together.
Okay.
That's wrong. 36.
Nope, you were right the first time. Yeah.
Oh.
That's correct. Okay, so what's everybody's current number?
24.
24?
26.
26?
30.
26? 30. Now, this is how much you can...
Powerhouse over here.
Right. So,
Jeez.
you can either... This is your choice now, each of you. You can either add 4 to that number, and that's your health, or roll a d8 and add it to that number.
Roll it.
All right.
I'm going to roll that.
All right, so we'll do it one at a time. So Adam's going to roll a d8.
5.
There you go. You got one more profited out of that.
What's a 31?
I got a 6.
Nice, nice. You're gonna roll it instead of taking the 4. You
I
got
got
a 4,
4.
and then you can either you'd either add 4 and get 34 health, or roll a d8 and add that much to your health.
To the D8.
You could get 8. Oh no! Oh no!
7.
7.
All right,
37.
All right. Chancing it.
Okay, so now write that number, that final number you came up with, here in the green zone. And then we're gonna go down this chart. Who has the highest health? I believe it's you, Ray, at 37 health. 37. That means that your so your green zone, sorry, is 37 to 29. So you write the number dash another number. So 37 to 29 is your green zone, right? 28 to 14 is your yellow zone. And 13 to 1 is your red zone. The chart right there on page
I did
74.
mine. Green is 31 to 24, yellow is 23 to 12, red is 11 to 1.
Cool.
30 to 23, 22 to 12, 11 to 1.
Awesome.
30 to 23, 22 to 12.
So you're both at 30. Great. So you both have 30 hit points. You have 31 hit points.
31.
And you have 37 hit points because you are made of stars. All right. So the only thing that's left on page 75 is finishing touches. Flip your character sheet back over. This is important stuff. This is the physical attributes and your hero name and alias. Your alias is what's your name? Are you Paul Parsons or Pauline Parsons perhaps? But what is your name, and then also what's your hero's name, and then your attributes. How do you look? What sort of stuff do you carry? Some people have already been filling things out. Other people haven't. So this
Guess
is where
how tall I am.
you're 5'2".
That is very close to how tall I actually am.
Very
7
normal
foot
height.
6.
7'6". What
Whoa.
are you doing?
I want to be really tall.
That's true in life. What is it? But
I don't know. I
what
might
is-
change
I mean,
that.
you could be 7'6". What is your explanation? You can do anything that you can explain to me.
Part giant. I don't know.
Like, I mean, you could be 7'6" because you are like this strung out, weird skeletal creature, but then you've got to deal every day with being this weird, strung out skeletal creature in life. I mean, I'm fine with any of these things. It's just a matter of what.
Super tall people are going to be very offended by the
7'6" and undead with a zesty blood knife.
I'll think about it.
If you find
If you want to tell me that you're not a
that
weirdo,
Venn
that's
diagram
fine.
of person to be offended about that, then go ahead, please.
Is your hero's name Zesty Blood?
No, it's too common.
You're right, too common.
It's too common.
I had
Too many people are going around calling themselves Zesty Blood.
maybe gospel written down, but I think no.
Okay, so with this, I am happy to continue chatting with you guys about any things you want to talk about if you need help naming your character or your person, or any of the looks or feels for your character. But I'm also fine with giving you time to think of that on your own if you're better at making this stuff up on your own. That said, I do want to go around and everybody introduce what they've come up with here to the live stream, to the chat. Now, it's fine if there are minor changes between now and April 17th. You're going to have some time in which you have to lock things in because Adam's got to draw it. But there's certainly, you're not necessarily locked into anything that happens right here and now. But I want you to at least describe the character you've built so far, and then we'll get to see what those finishing touches are in a month. Who wants to go first?
I can go first.
Adam wants to go first.
Yeah, I'll jump up and do it.
Do it.
Yeah, so I have. Do you want mechanically how they are, or do you just? Like,
I don't necessarily need to know like how you do everything,
Right,
but just
okay.
tell me like, give me the very truncated letters page overview of this character.
Okay. So my guy was an astronaut sent to be operating on a space station in a new part of space that humanity's never been to.
Ooh.
Came under some sort of attack, and he was the only one to make it to an escape pod and landed on a strange alien world. And upon waking up and exploring the wreckage around his craft, he came upon this sword, and strange alien beasts were encroaching at that moment, so he took up the sword to defend himself against those, and found that the metal started interweaving itself with his arm and his muscles, and he blacked out. And when he woke up, it's just surrounded by alien corpses.
Nice.
Really?
So, he now has the sword Starblight that, and it's part of a sort of parasitic, technological cursed organism that is being controlled by something else that is just through his entire body. He can wield infernal energies through that. The sword it seems to have some purpose of charging up something with every use, and can unleash that energy at times. And then in addition to that, there's a voice in his head that will convey all of this deep space knowledge, basically.
I'm curious, is the sword named Starblight, or is the curse named Starblight? And I have a further question before you answer that one. Are you named Starblight?
I might be named Starblight.
Are you just Starblight now? Because I think that
I might be.
I think that by the time that it's in the sword and it's in you and it's in,
I might just be called Starblight.
That just might be it.
It's a cool name.
It is a cool name, and it is kind of what you are, and you don't necessarily need to understand it.
Right.
I also wonder if when we don't know, you blacked out and you were the only one to survive. When you first picked up that sword and then disappeared, and then blacked out, did you pick up that sword, get sucked into that sword killed everybody there, and then you came back out? Because we know that can happen.
I blacked out. I don't know what happened.
So you might have been in that sword. Like, how much of you is still you?
I don't know. I might not be any me still.
It's just enough of your memories and emotions for this for the
I might
curse
just
to hang
be
on
the
to.
sword. Yeah, but
Probably normal stuff.
I'm inexorably tied to this somewhat parasitic organism.
Cool.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
And how is it that you? How is it that you are now back on Earth doing stuff?
Oh, am I back on Earth? I don't know. I haven't.
Okay, all right.
I haven't figured that out yet.
Fair enough. Fair enough. That's a fair question.
Yeah.
We'll get there. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
All right.
Okay, so
Can't wait to hear this.
I'm still
Things,
ruminating.
like I said, things can be still
Yeah.
in flux. Things can change between now. We're gonna definitely start next session by introducing everybody, and it's
Yeah.
okay if those introductions wildly vary from these.
So I erased what I looked like for now.
Okay.
So,
Who knows?
But I do come from a long line of sorcerers, and that's how I got Zesty Blade. It's a family heirloom.
Zesty Blade.
Zesty Blade. Oh yeah, sorry, Zesty Blood Dagger.
Okay. Zesty
Sorry,
Blade.
I got.
I was like the Zesty Blade. That's very cool.
That might be my name. I don't know.
Oh,
Who
you
knows?
Zesty Blade, bearer of Zesty Blood?
Yeah, that could be what it is. But anyways, I come from a long line of sorcerers, and something unfortunate befell me, and now I am some sort of undead.
Sure.
Not sure what sort yet. And
So you died.
Yeah, I have died. I am undead. So the only thing that is for sure known about my appearance is that I have bluish pale skin.
Sure.
Like the type that have you ever seen like a dog that has a lot of fur and then you look at their skin and it's like blue? Have you seen that? My dog has that. That's what I'm thinking of exactly.
But
my
dead.
Dog. But also dead, yeah. Not my dog dead. God,
You're-
no,
so,
stop that.
So you're saying you're a dead dog
It might be
with a Zesty Blood Dagger.
that I carry
You
around
just
in my
call
mouth.
yourself Ghost Dog.
Ghost dog. Wow, such an original, thoroughly thought out.
Just right off the top of my head.
That's amazing. How did you do that?
You're so talented.
I don't know.
You should make
Very good.
You should definitely make like a story about that.
No,
yeah,
I'm
something
not
like
that ambitious with it.
Oh,
I'm just very good at coming up with names.
I'll go.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, do you want to go?
Doesn't matter.
I'll go. Okay.
Save the best for last.
You gave me the idea for my name, my hero name.
Oh,
My hero name is Dynamo.
cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Alias Benjamin Biltmore.
Built more what? Hey.
Houses.
Oh, okay, interesting. Not what I expected.
Technology.
Questionable
Anyway.
life choices.
That too. So he was an idle, educated, rich person.
Weren't educated strong there too, like you weren't educated in you don't have like a thorough, deep education of a lot of things.
Right.
You pursued the information that you wanted and like ignored a bunch of other things. This is the feeling I'm getting from this.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like culture.
Yeah. But so we're talking in like 1880s-ish Philadelphia.
Oh.
Yeah. Not you were expecting British.
I was.
But no, like 1880s Philadelphia. He was tinkering in his workshop, working on, like he had an idea for time travel, and so he had been working on his time travel device, and there was a lightning storm happening.
Sure.
And
Like.
Dynamo money, dynamo problem.
So yeah,
We're gonna have dynamo problems. I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah. Yeah. So his lab, his workshop, was struck by lightning.
Sure.
And it set his time travel device off, and it rocketed him forward nearly 150 years into the future. But the device didn't come with him.
Oh no!
It just sent him, and he has no idea like what actually made it work in the first place. Like he wasn't done with it as far as he knew. So he's now stuck in this time, and trying to figure out how to get back. And because he comes from a time with maybe slightly more lawlessness is not the right word, but a little more chaos. He just assumed he had to protect himself, especially since he couldn't protect himself socially because he is out of time.
Oh, so he built a suit when he got here.
Yeah,
The suit is not a thing he brought with him.
No, no.
Okay, so how did you establish a lab when you got here?
He didn't have any money.
Right.
He didn't have anything.
Sure.
He scavenged the parts
Okay.
to begin with,
It's very
and
industrious.
basically was like assembling things under an overpass.
Wow.
Yeah,
All right.
I like that.
Very cool. Okay.
he's in a better place now. He's dead.
He's dead. And then he died.
Your lab isn't under an overpass.
It's not under an overpass anymore.
Okay. All right.
Yay. So, I was born out of the stars. That's where I get all my energy and all of my knowledge. And I spend most of my time between the planets and watching over the different worlds, using my mental powers and energies to help things that are going on the different planets. The stars are talking to me, so I know I'm all-knowing, so I know what's going on with everything.
Wow.
Yeah,
We got
that's all I
a god over here.
Yeah, essentially like.
See, no one cares.
That's great. That is great. That is great.
I like that.
What do you? So, why interact with humanity? I'm not saying you should or shouldn't.
This was my question.
Why interact with humanity?
Just because I see the world, the universe is one.
Okay. And you're like, this is worth something.
Yep.
All right.
What do you look like?
What do I look like?
You don't have to tell
I'm
me now if you don't
thinking-
know, but I'm just curious.
My skin is glowing, of course.
Of course. Naturally.
Um, My hair is always glowing. Probably silver hair or gold hair. Gold hair or silver hair. Glowing.
There's
floating.
also the possibility that you can see space in parts of your body, which is a really cool look.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
that is a cool look.
That's one of Adam's favorite things.
So
You
just
have,
my
like,
favorite
spicy
thing out
eyes.
there.
Right,
Gold
right.
is usually associated with the sun, which is a star.
Yeah.
By humans.
Yeah.
So, cool. Yeah. Well, and I
Just,
so
like, rocking a lot of
homework
highlighter.
for all y'all between now and mid-April is to finish your characteristics up as soon as you can and get them to me because I got to type them all up and make them into the sheets. But also to talk to Adam about your look, go back and forth with Adam and make sure that you have. He'll do a sketch and then do an art for everybody to see what they look like.
If you could send me an email with as much visual information as you possibly can, preferably with references.
If you have it.
If you go like, if you Google something and like, I like this for a costume, sort of things.
Right.
You know, that's helpful.
I'm going to be drawing heavily from the Steam Boy anime.
Okay.
Cool. So yeah, get those references, talk to Adam about arts. The other thing is I want the four of you to like talk to each other a bunch. Maybe it might be a cool idea. I know it might be a cool idea sometime in the next couple weeks, like, just before you go to lunch or something, and figure out why it is that you're a team.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to make you a team. You're going to have to make yourselves a team.
Yeah.
Because we're starting in with this issue
some
1
connections,
being
yeah.
like, and if you want to tell me, oh hey, as part of issue 1, we just recently met up, or we've been adventuring together for years, or whatever, that's fine. But you tell me those things. The sooner you get me the information, the better for the purpose of my campaign planning. But also, like, I can be on my feet pretty quick.
Okay.
So if you could do those couple things for yourselves and for me, that'd be super helpful.
Yep.
Any other questions before we finish up?
I don't think so. I'm
Awesome.
excited.
This is really fun.
Thank you guys so much. You did a
Quite
great
the
job.
group here.
Yeah.
Put
This
the
is
system
great.
through its
Like-
paces. Everything seemed to work really well. I'm really pleased with the characters that came out of this. What a disparate group.
Yeah.
What a really...
But like not so much that you can't see them
They
teaming
can totally
I
team
can
up.
totally
but
see
we
a
have like
line right now,
a
like-
god of the stars, and
Yeah.
then we'll also like some steampunk thing from a couple hundred years ago,
Yeah.
and then like a cursed spaceman, and then like an undead sorcerer. Like what?
It's Spachemin, thank you.
So yeah.
I already can tell that I'm going to be the most down-to-earth person in this group.
Welcome to so the character that you built is the everyman in the group. Enjoy.
The one from Victorian era Philadelphia.
Right.
I like
All
it.
right.
Somebody's got to ground us. Like, honestly.
Oh boy. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. It was great having you here. I hope that you guys had a fun time in the watching as much as we did in the creating, and we look forward to seeing you back starting April 17th for actually playing this game and learning the names of these characters, their super names, their super team name, all those things.
Oh, we get to have a super team.
You get to have a
we
super
get a
team
team
name.
name.
I like
Love that
this.
too.
Catch you next time.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.